Welcome to State College, Pennsylvania. I'm Daniel Thompson, joined alongside by Andy Laidlaw, Andrew Miller, and Alex Drain to follow us. We are live at one of the biggest stages of college football, not only this week, but of the whole season, the site of College Game Day, and 110,000 fans here in Happy Valley. It is a sea of white anywhere you can look. They've got the pom-poms out, they've got their phone flashlights out. It is a truly gorgeous scene. I mean, this is what football is all about.
I mean, this, like you just said, this is college football. I mean, when kids want to play Division I football, they want to play in the Big Ten, they want to play on the national stage, this is it. These are the type of games that players are dying to play in. And, man, this is awesome. And you can understand why Penn State has such great success in these whiteout games because, man, Beaver Stadium is rocking right now.
It is truly remarkable. This is quite the sight. I am honored to be here.
Absolutely.
It's quite the sight, and we know how huge this game is. Not only are the numbers by these teams pretty high, 7-16, two of the top teams in the country, but this has massive playoff implications, and we just saw one playoff spot maybe open up here as Wisconsin fell earlier today. We'll get into that in a moment. But, of course, winner of this game is effectively in the driver's seat of the Big Ten East. Now, Ohio State might still be the favorite regardless of what happens today, but they haven't played either of these teams yet. It's the classic Big Three in the Big Ten East, especially with Michigan State kind of sliding over the past few years.
Yeah.
These are the three teams that are duking it out to win the division every year. Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State. Ohio State yet to play either. Winner of this one has a leg up in the big games.
Absolutely.
Ohio State will have to go to Ann Arbor, receive Penn State and Columbus. But if Michigan comes out of here with a road win, they have just done themselves a tremendous favor. They do play Notre Dame next week, but that doesn't matter for Big Ten standings.
Yeah.
We'll see how whoever wins this, they're in great position. But also the Big Ten West, the Big Ten as a whole, just got opened wide up with that stunning Illinois defeat.
Yeah, I mean this is a big game for both teams. Penn State still kind of can't survive if they lose this game. If they lose this game and they go and beat Ohio State, and Ohio State beats Michigan, obviously Michigan will have two losses. Penn State and Ohio State will tie, and Penn State will get the win, or get the bid, obviously, because they beat Ohio State. If Michigan loses this game, it's over. I mean, this season's college football playoff, it might seem like a pipe dream right now, but if they win this game and win a couple other games, they're back in it. If they lose this game, though, it starts here. If they lose this game, it's over. Big Ten Championship, Indianapolis, it's over. So what is critical for the Wolverines? They got to come out. They got to play energetic. They got to get the ball in the air. Like the last couple weeks, I mean, we saw them do it a little bit against Nebraska. Illinois, not much at all. Iowa, not much at all. So if Michigan wants to come in this tough environment, they're going to have to throw the ball. Nico, Tariq, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, you get those three guys going, guess what? Michigan's got a chance to win this football game.
Absolutely. Illinois showed it today. Anyone has a chance in the Big Ten. Maybe
that's
not
right.
Rutgers,
you asked me that. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, how crazy is that, man? Wisconsin has been probably the most dominant team. Them and Ohio State have been the two most dominant teams in the Big Ten. And all of a sudden today, man.
On the drive over here, I was explaining why I think Wisconsin can beat Oklahoma on a neutral field. They should be the favorite to beat Oklahoma on a neutral field. I still think they're a team that can run the ball and dominate possession, shorten games, and beat just about anyone. But Illinois, who was the bottom feeder of the Big Ten, they've now established themselves. They're probably at least a tier above Rutgers and Northwestern. But the Big Ten West is wide open. Minnesota now in the driver's seat there.
Yeah,
I assume they finished their job against Rutgers.
Did you ever think P.J. Fleck, this is his second year, right?
Third year.
So P.J. Fleck, coming from Western Michigan, in his third year, is most likely going to make it to Indianapolis, the Big Ten Championship. Pretty much before Jim Harbaugh has.
Should Wisconsin drop the game in Columbus next week, as I think many expect them to now?
Yeah.
Minnesota doesn't even have to beat Wisconsin at the end of the year. They just got to beat Penn State at home.
Which is insane to me because Wisconsin has looked so freaking good all year. I mean, that Michigan game, they absolutely dominated the Wolverines. And then that Michigan State game last weekend against a tough Michigan State Spartans defense just absolutely shredded them. So that's just college football. You got to come in and day out, win the game, get in front of you, beat the teams in front of you, and if you don't, season's over. And fortunately, that happened today to Wisconsin.
Now, Michigan's season, I think Michigan is at a point where they can salvage any season by beating Ohio State. They could lose their remaining games, and they would still maybe salvage their season should they beat Ohio State. But the college football playoff is over. They're almost certainly not going to win
for the
Big
Wolverines.
Ten. If they lose this game.
If they lose this game, absolutely.
As you said earlier.
Yeah, if they lose this game, yes. If they win this game, though, I mean, we were talking about on the ride here, I mean, our 6.5-hour trip, which was lovely. I mean, once you get to Pennsylvania, it was
you get to like Cuyahoga National Park Forest or whatever. Yeah, it's a breeze from that point on.
And like we were talking about, I mean, how can you not take a Wolverines team? And again, we are speaking high in advance. There's still a lot that has to happen for the Wolverines if they want to even dream about the college football playoff. But with that being said, they go off against Penn State, Notre Dame, Michigan State, and Ohio State, plus 2 tough road games that everybody are forgetting about with Indiana and Maryland, 2 teams that Michigan could lose to. If they have a chance to run the table, go to Indianapolis, beat whether it's Minnesota or Iowa or Wisconsin, anybody, they can make the college football playoff. It'll be tough. Things got to happen. But Michigan still controls their own destiny for all the goals that they wanted to start this year.
Michigan, as of right now, per ESPN FPI, faces the most difficult schedule in the country.
And that's just the Big Ten West, man, or Big Ten East.
As Penn State did win the kickoff, they will kick off here in seconds, and Michigan's offense will see the field to start this game.
Michigan, like I said earlier, man, if Michigan wants to get out and put some points on this tough defense in this tough environment, guess what? The Michigan Wolverines are going to have to throw the ball. Also today, Zach Charbonnet, he really has been kind of contained recently. If he can go out and do his thing and if Shea can sort of work in the read option, this Michigan offense has shown promise, and hopefully they can come out and do it today.
As the fireworks clear from the air here in State College, you are reminded this is why they play the games.
Here we go, baby.
We'll see if Michigan can change history, win their first road game against the top 15 team in ages. As Jordan Stout kicks this one underway, that one is high and it will not be returned, landing right between the N and the S in the Penn State south end zone. We will see the Michigan offense trying to open this one up early.
Yeah.
And Andy, you and I have talked about this in detail. We both think this is a game where Michigan has to get ahead and stay ahead.
Well, because we saw in Wisconsin, Michigan's not a team that can come back very well.
No.
If they fall behind 2 or 3 touchdowns, obviously I've been trying to emphasize it throughout this broadcast, Michigan has to throw the ball more if they want to be successful. If they're falling behind games and they have to rely on the air game, they're not going to have a great chance to come back and win. This is a team that wants to run the ball first as they come out here to no running back set, which is making me incredibly happy. I like seeing Nico, DPJ, and Tariq Black all on the field at the same time. But like I said, they got to come out, get the ball moving, start this game off right.
Patterson all by himself in the backfield. 5 men wide as the crowd gets loud here.
Flag comes.
And it looks like they've already drawn a false start before this game started. No, timeout. Michigan called a timeout.
All right.
Had to come in and beat the game clock there, and that is not the way Michigan wanted to start this game.
Not at all.
Already getting the crowd more into it now as they've already got their first victory against the Michigan team. As Michigan has to call a timeout this early in this one. Couldn't quite see the game clock. I never even prepared to look for a delay of game on the first snap of the game.
Well, the ref threw the back judge threw a flag, so I thought it was either 12 men on the field or it was a delay of game. But apparently Harbaugh got the timeout off before that. I'm just in wow. Just kind of looking around here at Beaver Stadium.
The pom-poms right now are just something else.
This is how a college football stadium and this is how an atmosphere should be.
It's almost like watching a geyser bubble. Like the pom-poms pop out of the sea of light.
Exactly. And I don't want to hate on Michigan, but Michigan can't touch an atmosphere like this. Nobody can touch an atmosphere like this.
But can they play in an atmosphere like this? We'll find out soon here. Patterson back in the shotgun, still all to himself. Drops back, waits, fires, and misses a man. Had a man open in the flat for short. Looks like Giles Jackson was good for about 4 yards down the field and just missed him low. Don't think there was any opportunity for yards after the catch, but he missed him behind and low. That was not really a catchable ball for Giles Jackson, and that's going to be incomplete. Michigan getting behind the sticks already, 2nd and 10. Yeah, no running back set, trips out right, twins out left, 2 slants come from the left side, and Shea Patterson throws Giles Jackson way behind. Michigan now in a bit of a wishbone formation, 3 in the backfield alongside Patterson. It's going to be a give. No, Patterson keeps it, shakes one tackle, has some room to run, but is wrestled down after a 2-yard gain. Not a good read there by Shea Patterson. They come back out in the zone read offense. Like you said, talking about that wishbone, sort of a full house pistol set, like I was telling Miller, my favorite offensive football. And they run the zone read, and the defensive end stayed right there. Actually, Shea Patterson had to break a tackle. Bad read. We've seen Shea all year actually give the ball away pretty much any chance to get. He keeps it, makes a bad read, and only gets a 2-yard run. Micah Parsons gets the tackle, and it was Hassan Haskins in at running back who did not receive the ball from Shea Patterson. Maybe should have. It's, again, a single back formation, 3 out wide and 1 to Patterson's left. who drops back, already feeling pressure, has to get rid of this one, finds a man downfield, and he's got it. Nico Collins for a modest gain, and some more up to the 45, and we'll see where the spot is, but that's for sure a Michigan first down as Tariq Castro-Fields makes the tackle, but not before Michigan gets a huge first down, one that they desperately needed, because they were about to get behind here in this one.
Yeah, very nice pickup by Jalen Mayfield. Blitcher's DB coming off the left side, the right side of the offensive line. Mayfield and Awunia stopped themselves, collected their stance in the huddle, and came out and made a big block there, blocking the protection for Michigan.
Favorable spot for Penn State. The ball only at Michigan's 44.
Back in that pistol formation.
Yep, and it's going to be a fake gift to Haskins. Pass in the backfield. Eubanks catches it, makes one man miss, but only to gain 2 yards. Good play there by Eubanks to shake one tackler, and then Cam Brown comes in and finishes the job. That could have been a loss after the backward pass. And right now we have only seen Hassan Haskins, interestingly, in at running back. No carries yet, only Patterson getting the only one. But I will have to say, Patterson, who's looked unconfident running the ball, unconfident in the pocket lately, he was able to keep a ball there, and he felt the pressure and got the ball out when he needed to.
Yeah.
Seems like he may have caught some composure recently. Keeping the ball. Patterson now rolls to his right, fires near the sticks. Tariq Black, who's caught it 3 yards ahead of the sticks and muscles his way forward for another yard. John Reed, the redshirt senior, in on the tackle, and that will be 3rd and short, as it looks like Black was able to extend his big body out for another yard across the 50-yard line into the 47. Michigan is already in Penn State territory, rather.
Yeah.
Ball at the PSU 46. 47 line to gain is the Nittany Lion 46.
Yeah, very nice play there. Shea Patterson rolling out to the right. Offensive line also covering steps to the right. It's called a swing block formation. You get your offensive lineman all rolling right. Where Shea's going, he's got a great protection right in front of him. Delivers a nice 7-yard pass.
The fullback, Haskins in. Gets a give to Haskins, who has a gap but is immediately swallowed up, and I think he's just a bit short. It will come down to the spot.
Got to go for it here for Jim Harbaugh. 4th and about an inch. 4th and maybe half a yard. If you want to come here in the whiteout, you got to make a statement. When you have $1 and your opponent has $1,000, it's time to roll the dice.
And Will Hart
does not look like the Wolverines are going to do that.
And that is a hard one to defend if I'm Jim Harbaugh.
I don't understand. This is a game where you're the underdog. You're predicted to lose by 7 points. It's 4th and inch. Wisconsin did it to Michigan on the first drive of their game. They got the first down, went and scored a touchdown. You have to roll the dice here if you're Jim Harbaugh. Like I said, if you want to come in here and upset Penn State, you got to take chances. And Harbaugh doesn't do it.
Punt is end over end and hits the 5-yard line, rolling. Michigan covers not there, though. The punt outran the coverage by about 1 yard, and Michigan doesn't even win the wager for field position. Penn State will resume possession at the 20-yard line. That's kind of indefensible for Jim Harbaugh.
That's the kind of stuff that gets this Michigan fan base frustrated. It seems like it's that way in the offensive play calling. It's that way in the game planning. And when there's certain situations like that, Michigan just doesn't take risks. Like, if you want to be a next level program and win these big games that people say Harbaugh and the Michigan coach staff can't win, you have to take chances. You have to roll the dice. This is the toughest environment in football. This is a game where if you play with half speed and half effort, you're going to lose. If you don't go out to try to win the game, you're going to lose. And right there, 4th and inches, come on, you're in plus territory. You're on the Michigan side, the Penn State side of the field. Go for it. Take a chance. Wisconsin did it against you. They scored. They took control of the game early. Michigan punts away. They get a touchback. Penn State's got the ball on the 20-yard line.
And because of the touchback,
incredibly frustrating.
The net yardage is 27 yards. They didn't try to do a corner coffin kick or anything.
Exactly.
It was a straightforward kick that Michigan just had to outrun. Couldn't get there in time. It was close, to Will Hart's credit, but Michigan's gunners were not there in time. They need to at least kick to the corner there and ensure that you don't have to pin them inside the 1. I can understand that the defense is the strongest part of this team. Try to let your best unit win the game for you.
Yeah.
But giving him 80 yards to defend isn't all that special.
If
you kick to the corner, at least keep him inside the 10.
It's one of those situations where Michigan football hasn't been that great at moving the ball all year with consistency. In that situation, that's probably better than half the drives you're going to have all game. Especially against Iowa, they didn't move the ball at all. They have the ball in plus territory, 4th and inches. If you want to be Michigan football, if you want to establish yourself as a Michigan football brand, you have to get that first down. Bo Schembechler right now, that's all he prided himself on. If my team can't get 1 yard on a 4th and 1 or 4th and goal at the 1, then they're not going to win football games. If Michigan can't pick up that 1 yard, they're not going to win football games.
And Michigan got the 1 yard on the previous play. And
exactly.
The offensive line, at least in the interior, has been showing a pretty good showing so far in this one.
Yeah.
You would think Michael Wainu, Ben Bredesen are both guys who are going to be drafted this year at guards.
Yeah.
If you can run behind them, you should be able.
Exactly. And you have guys like Zach Charbonnet. Heck, if you want to go back to the pro-style offense, which you ran all last year, put Ben Mason at fullback. Give him the ball. Or you want to put him in the elephant package, line him up at fullback, put Charbonnet behind him, and run a halfback dive, like you said, behind those great guards. And Cesar Ruiz, a 5-star center. Like I said, if you're Michigan football, you want to be dominant, pick up 1 yard. That's all you got to do. With that being said, though, like you said, the defense is the strongest part of the team. And in the pregame, we were talking about how Sean Clifford is a guy who's not been great under pressure. I do expect Don Brown to dial it up even more than he usually does today. I wouldn't mind seeing him on almost about half the plays, bringing at least 5 or 6 guys. You know, and that's what he does a lot. But right now, I can see him doing a lot. It's a big game today. Defense got to shore up some things.
Michigan's defense takes the field. It looks like the starters are Hill, Hawkins, Metellus, Kalik Hudson, Aiden Hutchinson, Kwity Paye, Carlo Kemp, Jordan Glasgow, and Cam McGrone, as well as Josh Uche. Sean Clifford in the shotgun formation. And it's a give with some space. Cuts to the 30, across the 30 for a Penn State first down, just picking up 11, getting that first down, as it is Jordan Brown who picks up the first down for Penn State, whose offense is already running at a higher clip than Michigan's. And we heard it get real quiet here in a hurry as the Penn State offense
Penn
took
State
the field.
coming with a little bit of hurry-up offense right here.
Sean Clifford in the shotgun, and that battle is immediately batted by Michael Dwumfor, and that's going to be a big confidence booster for the Michigan defense. That play got blown up immediately by Michael Dwumfor getting into the backfield.
Yep, Penn State sending out a tunnel screen out to the left. Michael Dwumfor to be able to jump up, show some athleticism, get his hand on the ball, and knock it down. And that screen was set up pretty darn well. If they complete that pass, that could have gone a long way there for the Penn State Nittany Lions. But again, here, 2nd and 10, Don Brown loves to dial with the blitz here to see what he does.
Sends the lone back to his left. That was actually KJ Hamler lined up at running back for a moment.
Very interesting. Cam McGrone lined up in the slot receiver here on the left side.
And there are 5 wide right now for Penn State, so a lot of speed on the field. Pocket collapses, but not before the pass is off by Clifford. That's going to be about a 5-yard gain, and we'll bring up 3rd and medium. Kalik Hudson in on the tackle. It looked like Pat Fryermuth was the intended target, and that will go down as a 4-yard gain. So 3rd and 6 coming up here from State College. Can Penn State move the ball here? Michigan picked up 1 first down on their drive. As of right now, Penn State has 1 to match it. They are looking to get to the 41 for the first down here as Hamler comes out wide again for another 5-wide set. Fryermuth, the 1 tight end, and I believe it's 4 players listed as wide receivers out there right now for Penn State. Clifford all by himself in the backfield on 3rd and medium. Drops back. Has some time, steps up in the pocket, hits Hamler, who is wrapped up immediately by a Michigan defender. That looks like Hawkins, who picked up the ball. That's not going to go down as a fumble, but he thinks it is anyways. Gallops down the sideline and stops at the 5-yard line, giving up on the play. But KJ Hamler, the speedy, undersized wide receiver who leads the Big Ten in touchdown receptions, was swallowed up immediately by Brad Hawkins.
Ball definitely down, not going to be a fumble there. But guess what, Daniel? Guess what route they stopped?
It was a crossing route.
It was a crossing route. Michigan gets a stop on 3rd down on a crossing route. Great play there by Brad Hawkins, sticking to his guy. And great form tackling. We've seen a lot of problems with guys hand tackling and not making great effort there. Brad Hawkins, very nice job. Big stop for the Wolverines here.
So it is Peoples-Jones back at his 20-yard line as that punt was almost blocked. It's going deep, though, and Jones has to catch it at his 14. Penn State fans want a roughing the kicker call. It's there. I don't see a flag though. They are booing now.
Great call there by the back or the head umpire here. It seemed like Penn State's own blocker actually fell into their punter. So again, if you make your own effort and your guy goes, the Penn State blocker goes in the punter. That's not a flag. Would have been a big play there if they happened to call roughing the punter. Fortunately, they do not. And the Wolverines get the ball here on the 15-yard line. And I think Harbaugh wanted to get that block, man. He sent about 8-9 guys, and they wanted to get that block. They brought a lot of pressure and almost got there.
Nonetheless, Penn State got off a booming punt, and now Michigan's back at their own 15 as Rod Snodgrass made the right call, didn't give in to the pressure from the home fans. This is a pistol formation again, Bell in motion. It's going to be a give to Haskins, who is met immediately, and we'll call that a half-a-yard gain as the offensive line immediately collapsed, and one of Penn State's multiple talented defensive linemen got into the backfield.
That was just a really congested formation. They were in a pistol set with Haskins behind him, and then it looked like Nick Eubanks set up right next to Shea, and they brought a guy in motion. So there's already 4 guys sitting right in the box for the Wolverines. Not much where's the ball going to go? 4 guys just sitting right in the middle of the backfield. Not strong formation there by Josh Gaddis.
Second down on the 16 from a tight formation. Patterson takes the give. He has all day to throw. Waiting. Still can't find his man. Rolls to his left and chucks it downfield. Overthrows Jones, but he gets up and catches it. And the ref's ruling incomplete. He dropped it. It was an overthrow from Patterson, and Jones could not wrangle it down.
On the play action, Ronnie Bell was running up the seam, and man, did he look wide open. Nobody, right off the route, if Shea would have threw it, he had Ronnie Bell deep and held the ball there. Very tough plays. It does squeak out of Donovan Peoples-Jones' hand. Big play here on 3rd and 9. Play action worked well. They had a lot of space. Shea just didn't get rid of the ball.
I have not seen Shea Patterson have more time to throw all day.
And it was a play action.
That was a perfect
too.
play call to Josh Gaddis' credit. And then Patterson does find an open Jones, but sails it a bit too high, and it allows the safety to come in and break up that pass. So 3rd and long now. False start, and the refs get that. That one was clear as day. But Robert Windsor, as Jalen Mayfield moved early, Robert Windsor gave Patterson a bit of a tap, but they're not going to call that.
Yeah.
It's just a false start. Michigan shooting themselves in the foot there. It's on the previous play. It was a flawless play call. About 10 of 11 players on the offense executed it perfectly. Patterson had all day to throw. No excuse not to find the right guy or to not hit Jones while he was open.
Yeah. And that's just the type of plays. I mean, I talked about earlier, if you want to win this game, you got to make those plays. A good play call, great play design, a lot of time for Shea to get rid of the ball, and it just didn't execute very well. Michigan can't do that today.
3rd and 14 from their own 11. Patterson standing at his own 8. And it's going to be a give to Charbonnet that will go for about 3 yards. And you really have to begin to question the play calling on 3rd and 4th down here for Michigan.
Yeah, a 3rd and 14 draw is not ideal. And you're lined up on, I don't get it, you're lined up on the 12-yard line. If you get a 6-yard sack, your punter still has a lot of space. It's not like he's going to be crowded there, and that's definitely what they were thinking. They didn't want Shea getting sacked on the 6-7-yard line, which is fine, man. Will Hart can line up in the middle of the end zone and still get rid of the ball fine. They just try to do something there. Come on, you got to do something.
So Will Hart stands just inside his own goal line as KJ Hamler's, the electrifying return man, stands with his heels planted on his own 36. Punt is underway and over, and it's a bit short though. Lands at the 48 and takes a helpful Michigan bounce. Hamler picks it up on the run, tries to shake one tackle, but that was a mistake. Michigan wrapped him up right away. And that will go down as a negative return for KJ Hamler. And that was a fortunate bounce for the Wolverines, as it looks like Jamon Green is able to get there for the tackle. And that will set up Penn State at around their own 32-yard line on the negative return from KJ Hamler.
Yeah, and very nice play there. I mean, Jamon Green, that's the one thing you're taught as a punt team shooter. You always keep it contained. Nobody goes outside of you. Handler tried going outside. He made a great tackle there. And again, a negative return. That's a big play for the Wolverines. Flip field position a little bit as Penn State's to start this drive on the 34-yard line.
As we enter another TV timeout, but never forget that WCBN is commercial free.
Oh yeah, baby. Full tilt, full time here. Me and Daniel, we got Drain and Miller coming on later. This is going to be a great call. So far, us four, man, we've just really, really enjoyed Penn State and State College. I mean, we were talking about it. This is college football. I mean, I have nothing else really to say. Like, when people think of big-time college football, this is the type of atmosphere that they imagine. So it's been awesome being here. And those tailgate systems, man, they had the tailgate set up, quite a party out here, and Penn State fans are always pumped about this whiteout game.
The whiteout game is electrifying. I know that there's a stat floating around that Penn State's 5-6 in the whiteout game since they've instituted it. But, I mean, this program has come a long way from the beginning of the decade where, of course, it was in a completely different place, deservingly so. Don't need to go into that, but they've come a long way since then. They have recovered from a well-deserved punishment, and they are a different program now. This whiteout, they have elite talent, and with the whiteout, they are truly terrifying to play here at State College.
And I think James Franklin's just done a really, really good job of moving this program forward. Bill O'Brien did a great job of keeping this program alive after everything happened.
Yes.
And Franklin's done a great job of making this program very relevant again. I mean, the years they had with McSorley and Barkley, I mean, this program is just, it's back to Penn State football, and it's been back for 2 or 3 years. I mean, just
they won
in
the Big Ten 3
2016,
years ago.
exactly, 2016, they won the Big Ten championship. So this is the team, not only are they back, but they're favored to win a lot of games. And they're playing the Michigan Wolverines right now. 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, back in 2009 when everything happened, nobody would have imagined in 7, 8 years where the Penn State Nittany Lions going to be favored against the Wolverines and beat them in 2016 and 2017 and then be favored here again in 2019. So you got to give a lot of credit to Franklin. Franklin gets a lot of hate for his on-the-field decisions, but when it comes to program building and recruiting, there's not many in the country better than him.
The official spot is the 34-yard line, and KJ Hamler, the return man, is now covered in the slot by Brad Hawkins, as he now all of a sudden steps back 15 yards and is now the one high safety on this play. They fake the give. Clifford is sprinting, running for his life, has a head blocker, ultimately has to slide after just a 3-yard gain. So Michigan doing a good job sniffing out the receivers as KJ Hamler just could not get open. Wide open, however. Sean Clifford felt the pressure. Kwity Paye was at his back, and he just took off. Lavert Hill and Brad Hawkins doing good coverage. And that's a false start if I've ever seen one.
Got to be one. It did look like Kwity Paye kind of went at him a little bit, but he didn't cross the line of scrimmage.
No.
If you go across the line of scrimmage, it's not an offsides on the defense. So I'm curious to see what they're going to call here. They might call offsides, and they do.
Okay, so I'm wrong about that one. They call offsides, and it's going to be second and short for the Nittany Lions.
I don't know about that one. I don't know if Kwity actually crossed the line of scrimmage. If you cross the line of scrimmage and you make the offensive player react, it is an offsides. But it didn't look like he crossed the line of scrimmage. But
it looked to me like Will Freese of the Penn State offensive line jump. That's not here nor there now because it's second and short now for Penn State. Ball on the 42, 2 yards to gain as Kwity Paye is hit with the offside. Clifford sees something he doesn't like and audibles at the line of scrimmage as Penn State can sniff the 50-yard line from where they are. Sends a man in motion. It's an empty backfield again. It's a screen with good downfield blocking. Great play there. We'll see if it's a first down or not. Khaleke Hudson came up to stuff him right at the 44.
Man, that's a bad spot.
First down nonetheless as Noah Kane picks up the first down on the reception.
Oh, that's not a good spot. It sure looked like Khaleke Hudson stuffed him a yard behind the first down marker, but nonetheless, Penn State's rewarded with the first down here.
First and 10 now from the 45 for Penn State, trying to cross midfield for the first time all game. KJ Hamler comes in motion. Kane remains the lone back. Clifford drops the pass, feels pressure, escaping the pocket, and is brought down by Aiden Hutchinson for a 1-yard gain, and Michigan brings up second and long.
It looks like one of those schemes that Don Brown really loves. You line up the two interior defensive tackles and the B gap, and the other B gap. They both shoot the C gaps, and then Cam Magruder comes up back in that A B gap and forces Clifford outside, and Aiden Hutchinson keeps him from behind. And it sure looked like they're marking it 2nd and 9, so Clifford must have picked up a yard, avoiding that sack.
Clifford fakes the give, has more time now, throws downfield looking for Hamler, who looks like he got it. He caught that right around the 20-yard line and walked out of bounds at the 17. That looks to be Jahan Dotson, who caught that one on the far sideline. Looked like Ambry Thomas was in coverage. Not bad coverage, but
no.
Dotson had a step, and Clifford hit him perfectly where that ball needed to go.
Very nice throw. Clifford up the left sideline, back shoulder. Ambry Thomas was able to make it up with his speed, but, man, that was just placed in the perfect spot, only where the Penn State wide receiver could get the ball. Big play here for the Nittany Lions. Now on the Wolverines' 17-yard line, looking to score here early in the first quarter.
His offensive line delivered him time, and Clifford looked flawless there as he's been rattled by pressure early. He drops back to pass again, has some time, throws to Freiermuth in the end zone, and that's a touchdown. Khaleke Hudson turned around in coverage and looked lost as Freiermuth easily picks up the touchdown along with the first down, and Penn State's up 6-0 as Michigan could not afford to get behind. And Khaleke Hudson, he struggled with so much in coverage since his sophomore year. Yeah. I know he has the body to cover a tight end, but I'm not sure how you can let him play coverage in this area. He didn't give Freiermuth too much of a step, but he completely misplayed the ball in the air right there.
It looked like Freiermuth was out on a real route, and Hudson was just a step behind him. And again, Clifford throws up a very nice pass, a little behind him, but Freiermuth comes up and makes the catch. And
extra point is underway and good.
It's almost the same problem that Michigan had last time they came here in Penn State on the whiteout. They had guys lined up in positions they shouldn't have been in. You know, Mike McCray was shadowing Saquon Barkley that entire game in 2017, and Saquon beat him. You're just talking about Khaleke Hudson's inability to coverage out in space and gets beat by a tight end. A guy he's faster than. The guy he's got more athleticism than. He's just in wrong position, and the Nittany Lions pick up a huge touchdown here in the second quarter. And we were talking about if Michigan wants to stay in this game, man, they got to get a touchdown here. They can't let this game fall behind 2 possessions. So if Wolverines want to do something, they got to come back here, pick up his touchdown, and tie this game up in the second quarter, or
and
first quarter.
We talked about it so much in the pregame and in our pregame preview that you can find on our Twitter, twitter.com/WCBN Sports, how important it is to get pressure on Sean Clifford, because he does not excel when he feels the pressure. And when Michigan was getting pressure early in the drive, he missed open receivers because he was bailing to run right away.
And really, honestly, there hasn't been that much pressure. We've seen a couple instances. Yeah, Aiden Hutchinson came off the backside and made a big sack, but it wasn't technically a sack. He got a 1-yard carry, but it's just an instance of this defense. I was talking about earlier, I thought Don Brown was going to dial up a lot of blitzes. I've only seen one time where they brought they brought 5 guys or more. So I don't know. It's a little interesting to see Don Brown's strategy kind of change here. We are really early in the first quarter. A lot of things can change. This game's still very, very young. But Michigan not taking a lot of chances here, and Penn State executing very well.
Make no mistake, it was a well-thrown ball to Freiermuth
both
by
passes,
Clifford.
Both passes, the fade on the left sideline and then that flag or that wheel route in the back right end zone. 2 very, very nice passes by Clifford.
Yeah. Kalik Hudson just misplayed the ball. I think Freiermuth probably catches that either way. But it was a well-placed ball, but Kalik Hudson didn't know where the ball was and he had no idea, so he stopped playing the man, just looked around to try to find the ball. At that point, he has to just look at the man's hands and try to guard the hands when he sees the ball come in. I think Freiermuth scores either way because of where the ball was, but Hudson completely misjudged that in the air.
Yeah.
But that's what happens when you give Sean Clifford time.
Yeah, and that's what happens, too, when your Viper linebackers playing one-on-one coverage with your tight end. Even if Kalik is making a good play on the ball and puts his hands up, the tight end's still probably going to jump over Kalik Hudson and make that catch. You know, he's bigger, he's faster, he's probably got better hands, more ball skills. So I don't know what's going on. It's early. A lot can still happen here. It feels like we're being very, very negative, but if the Wolverines want to come out and win these games, they got to make the big plays. They can't give up that one-on-one fade on the left sideline when Penn State's on the 50-yard line, and they can't give up jump balls on blown coverage. It's early. It's early. Wolverines still got a lot to come back from, but not a good start here for the Wolverines in an environment that they don't want to be behind in.
Absolutely not. We saw what happened to the Michigan offense when they got down against Wisconsin. There is some murmur that Hudson may have been pushed off by Freiermuth. That's all in the past now, though.
Yeah,
whatever it was.
Now. This isn't the NFL where you can challenge every single pass interference that's on the field. But
and we've seen how that's gone for the NFL.
Yeah, don't even get me started on the NFL officiating. I'm not a Lions fan or anything. I'm not mad. I'm not mad.
So Jace Pinnegar, who just knocked through that extra point, will tee things off again. As we have Jordan Strout, rather, is the kickoff specialist. As we have the ball underway, Giles Jackson looking to return. And that ball is muffed. The 2 men ran into each other. Giles Jackson with the ball, hit at the 14, and Michigan shoots themselves in the foot yet again. Just call fair catches.
Yeah,
Penn State deliberately played that to be caught around the 2-yard line to force Michigan to return it. It's not worth it.
It's simple. It's the center field, left field, center field, right field kind of thing. Somebody gets under the ball, somebody calls it. You don't fight over the ball and drop it. Now Michigan got the ball on the 14-yard line. It's just simple football. It seems like Michigan is just terrified right now. It seems like they're playing so incredibly flat. They're not energetic in this game at all. This is a problem that people always have with Harbaugh and this Michigan football team in big games. They just seem flustered or not ready to play.
Patterson from the shotgun, drops back, has all day, throws downfield, and can't quite bring it in is Ronnie Bell near the far sideline. That'll be incomplete. He had to try to drag his feet and bring in a pass in tight coverage. Ultimately, cannot come down with the ball that was just a bit too far away from his body.
To be fair, it's about a 14-yard flag. Tough play for St. Passion to make, but the ball is definitely catchable. Just a really tough catch. I mean, the coverage was pretty tight there, and Ronnie Bell he couldn't exactly make a play here.
Second and 10 from the 14 now. As Penn State brings the blitz, Patterson gets that way immediately, and Bell drops it. Jones, rather. That was Jones who caught it just a yard ahead of the line of scrimmage. Penn State tried to pull on it like it was a backward pass, but that ball was ahead of the line of scrimmage. Jones saw the men coming, though, and he looked downfield before the ball came to him. That'll happen to everyone. You cannot put your eyes downfield before you secure that ball. He was worried about getting lit up.
Again, not just a problem that Penn State made a great play, just horrible execution. Another time where it's a football play that everybody should make. If you're a Division I college athlete, you probably should make that play. And Michigan just not executing routine plays right now.
3rd and 10 from the 14. Charbonnet, the lone back, goes downfield, and he has a man. Eubanks catches it at the 30 and dances forward to the 33 as Michigan silences the crowd. Jaquan Brisker in on the tackle, the safety who frequently plays nickelback. And Patterson had a man wide open down the seam. Eubanks dances forward with that one for a Michigan first down and a second crucial third down pickup backed up.
It seems like Michigan's passing game is open right now. They've been getting a lot of time. The offensive line has been very good. It simply got to execute a little better, but they're coming out in twin set, both left and right, and Nick Eubanks runs a really nice seam up the middle for a wide open 14-yard completion here. So Wolverines hopefully can get a first down, get rolling a little bit here.
Single back formation. Charbonnet right behind Patterson. Fakes to Charbonnet and gives it to Black, who is stuffed immediately, and that's going to go down as a big loss. Black doesn't have the liberty of dropping that ball because it might have been a backward pass had he not caught it.
See, it looked like that was an RPO between Haskins, Shea, and Tariq Black, but that's not really an RPO that works too well often. Did it look like an RPO to you?
That's what I think. That's what it was.
It sure
made
looks
some
like
adjustments
that.
at the line.
Yeah, it could have been a hot route, but it just didn't seem like it was executed well. It took forever to get out of Shea's hand, and results in a key 4-yard loss.
2nd and 13 upcoming from their own 30. Patterson pocket collapses and he takes off to run. He's got some green grass ahead of him. Goes to his left, tries to get forward across the 40 for a first down. It'll be close here at the 43. Comes down to the spot. The way he slid, I think, is going to get the ball behind the line. It's going to be 3rd and short. No, they pick up the sticks, and it's going to be a
first down.
First down, Michigan. That was a tight one. Patterson, if he wasn't under extreme pressure. He could have stuck the ball forward. Instead, slides awkwardly. Still gets it, though.
It's all right, first down, and that's a nice play there. Penn State brings pressure off the outside. Cesar Ruiz closed out that left guard, and Charbonnet turns around, turns out to be lead blocker there for Shea Patterson, and gets a nice 15-yard run there for Shea Patterson. Shea actually doesn't look that bad today. He seems like he's under control a lot.
Goes out wide, and it's a Wildcat now. Charbonnet takes it from the Wildcat, has room to the right, gets forward for about 8 yards, and falls forward for a 9-yard gain. And one of the umps looked ready to move the sticks, but I don't think he got it.
Just a little bit short, but Wildcat from the Michigan Wolverines. We haven't seen that since Jabril Peppers. And some stuff, you go deep in the playbook, some stuff might work here as Michigan's hurrying up.
2nd and 1, that's their first good play on first down all game. It's Patterson fakes giving it. Charbonnet keeps his feet churning and gets forward for a Michigan first down and more. Gets all the way up to the Penn State 42. I thought he was down short.
Yeah.
He got stuffed, but kept those legs moving.
2 things. That's what I was talking about earlier. Get Charbonnet going. He's running tough right now. And 2, that was not a very good read by Shea Patterson. It looked like a zone read. And the entire left side of the defensive line there for Penn State blows down on and Charbonnet gets him in the backfield. When Shea gave his fake rollout, there was nobody around him at all. He could have probably took it off for maybe a 20, 25-yard gain. But nonetheless, Wolverines pick up a big first down here in plus territory.
Charbonnet lined up as an X receiver, now moves into the backfield to stand side by side by Patterson on 1st and 10. Fakes the give, and Patterson finds Collins, who cannot reel that one in. That should have been a first down. Nico Collins does not hold on to that one, and it'll be 2nd and 10 for Michigan, who is just they just don't feel like having big plays on first down.
Whatever. You can pick up first down and 2nd down, but it makes it a lot harder. A little too far out for Nico Collins. Probably a ball he still should have caught. But, man, he had Ronnie Bell wide open right on the other side. So maybe the play design's working well, and that's what happens. If you can run the football, everything else opens up. Michigan run the football well this drive. Secondary starting to loosen itself up, and Wolverines got chances to make plays here. They come out in quads on the right side of the field here. Interesting formation.
Yeah, interesting. Ben Mason, the lone back, right to Patterson's left, just a half step in front of him. Drops back, screen now to Bell, who has some blockers downfield, cuts outside, and is pushed out of bounds just ahead of the first down marker. This should be 3rd and short from the 34-yard line of the Nittany Lions. It looks like Jaquan Brisker again made the tackle, forced Bell out of bounds, and we'll call it 3rd and 2 now. Ball at the 36. Line to gain is right between the 34 and 33s.
Yeah, it sure looked Ronnie Bell was maybe like a yard out of bounds, and number 7 there for Penn State comes out and just levels him. Yeah, Brister, like we talked about, very easy could have been a 15-yard penalty there on Penn State, but nonetheless, Michigan's got a 3rd and 4 here.
That was Michigan's first screenplay that worked so far today.
Yeah, and that's a 3rd attempt they've tried, right?
They get loud here, and it's another Wildcat play to Charbonnet, who gets swallowed up and cannot get it. It will be 4th and short. Decision time again for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's been working well. You're lining up in your normal pro football sets, and it's been working. Try to get cute, and Michigan gets stuffed. But
looks like Micah Parsons. He's been explosive into the backfield. Michigan looks like they're going to go for it. They keep the offense out there.
This is the stuff I like to see. You got to take risks. It might not work. Field position's not that bad. And Michigan, if they get the first down here, it'll be huge, obviously.
The ball's at the 36, so not picking up the first down is in no way killer. Trips to the left. Charbonnet is the lone back to Patterson's right. Drops back. Doesn't have time, has to get rid of the ball, and that goes in and out of the hands of the Michigan receiver. Incomplete. Tariq Black could not come down with it. That would have been a first down as Penn State runs off the field victorious.
15-yard penalty on Michigan. Michigan sideline. Wait,
Harbaugh.
No, I don't think it was
looks
Harbaugh.
like there was a flag against someone on the Michigan sideline is in trouble. We know that much.
It sure looked like it was. I think it was Jay Harbaugh who was coming after that referee bad. As Jim is exploding right now. But it sure looked like Jay on the opposite side, line judge. Sideline warning. So not going to be a 15-yard penalty, but nonetheless, they had Zach Charbonnet wide open on the flat. And usually on a 4th and 3, the flat or the slant is your first read. They want a 7-yard in, which takes a lot of time to develop. You have Charbonnet wide open on the flat. If they throw it to him, they pick up 6-7 yards, and it's easy first down. So very, very interesting.
And there might have been pass interference on that one. Tariq Black, it was not a perfect throw, but Tariq Black I expect would come down with that most of the time. Sean Clifford now in the shotgun formation as Penn State takes over from their own 36. Clifford gives it to Kane, who has some room down the field to the 40, the 35, 2 men to beat, and cuts to the left, 25, wrestle down as he dives to the 20. That's a huge gain for Penn State as they burst open for a huge gain. Avery Thomas finally wrestles him down as it looks like Ricky Slade got loose.
And that's, I don't know. I mean, Michigan has to be able to respond to tough situations. You don't pick up the first down, big freaking deal. You go out in the field, you get a 3 and out, you get the ball back, and Michigan lets up a huge run there.
Penn State hurries it up. Clifford now in the shotgun formation brings Hamler in as his running back to his right. Clifford makes an adjustment, saw something he didn't like, ball at the 20 right now, gives it to Hamler, who trips over himself, but not before getting 2 yards for a Penn State short gain on first down. That will be 2nd and 8.5. Jordan Glasgow was the first to get there, make him slip over himself.
Yeah. Again, just really, just a wide change of events here for the Wolverines. They're rolling down to the 30-yard line. They have a 4th and 3. They get stuffed, and then boom, a 60-yard run breaks off, and the Wolverines are in tough position here.
Hamler comes in motion. Ricky Slade is the lone back after that huge pickup on the first play of the drive. Clifford screens as a backward pass. That ball's down on the field. And that's blow it dead.
It sure looked like that was backwards.
And that could have been a 15-yard loss if they called that a backward pass. Stadium is quiet now as Penn State faces third and long.
It really sure looked like that was backwards there to Ricky Slade. He was swinging out in motion. The refs blow it dead, and he is right on that. It's a little tougher angle for us to see.
But you got to let that play unfold, and you can go back and
you can go back and look at it. Exactly. Tough play here. Wolverines 3rd and 7. Got to get a stop here. If you want to stay alive in this game, they can't fall back 2 possessions, as we were talking about, or 2 touchdowns, essentially. Wolverines get a tough, big stop here. That'd be huge.
5 wide set. Clifford all by himself. It's going to be a keeper for Clifford, who gets that across the 13 and drags a man with him across the 10 for a Penn State first down. That ball is going to be down at the 7 as Clifford, I thought he was going to get more than 5 yards on that play. I really questioned that play call. Instead, he had a big gap. He hesitated, got a gap, and then dragged Quiddy Pay with him for a first down.
Josh Metellus right there. He had no player responsibilities. It didn't look like he was in man coverage. He didn't come up to the line of scrimmage. I mean, you got it. When you see the quarterback with the ball, you go up and jam him. You stick him, and he didn't do it at all, and they get a big first down.
It's a handoff this time, and he's swallowed up immediately. That's not going to be for more than a yard for Penn State's Jury Brown. And it's going to be 2nd and goal now. Michigan can still hope to hold that field goal. That first down won't matter too much, as you'd assume anything under 40 is probably a gimme for a field goal. That'll end the quarter, though. Penn State no longer playing toward their student section, if maybe that's a positive spin you can put on it for Michigan as the quarter comes to an end. But, Andy, what do you have to say about that first quarter where I don't think Michigan looked in any way really the worst team, but they're in a big hole right now.
It's just the offense doesn't look that bad. I mean, Shea Patterson's throwing the ball pretty well. They have open chances down the field. We've seen a couple of Eubanks catches. We saw Dalvin Peoples-Jones drop that 3rd and long on that play action. But what really is killing Michigan right now is it's the long plays. You know, that slant up top to I think it was KJ Hamler, right? That fade on the left side. Regardless, they had that long 30-yard fade on the left sideline, and then that long run there by Journey Brown. It's the 2 really big plays that have hurt Michigan thus far.
It was Jahan Dotson on the first
Dotson,
touchdown, and then Ricky Slade. And you're right, it's been those 2 big plays that have changed the game.
And that's just kind of stuff that can't happen. It's just, if you want to, I've said it a million times, and I feel like I'm a broken record, but if you want to come into this game in a really tough scenario, there's about 2 things you can't do. You can't let explosive plays happen on defense, and you can't make fundamental, easy mistakes on offense. And the one thing we saw on offense, they had that 4th and 1 on the first drive. They elected a punt on the 44-yard line in plus territory. And then we've seen a couple drop screens, a couple tough reads by Shea Patterson. And to be fair, like I said, Shea looks decent throwing the ball today. And then we've seen those 2 huge plays for Penn State on offense. Just really, that's the difference in the game right now. And I don't know, if things are going to have to work itself out real quick here for the Wolverines. Otherwise, they're going to see themselves in a 14-0 deficit. And as we saw earlier against Wisconsin, they weren't able to come back from it.
Nope, they got down early against Wisconsin and things imploded. Right now, it's hard to say that isn't going to happen again right now. It was 2 big plays. It wasn't quite like the Wisconsin game where Jonathan Taylor just churned out gain after gain after gain. I think the success rate for these teams is probably about the same, but Penn State is getting off huge chunk plays that Michigan is just not.
Exactly, and that's exactly right. I mean, it's not necessarily like Penn State has really, I guess to say dominated. It's just their good plays have been longer than Michigan's good plays, and they've been able to get into the red zone, and then they converted on that Cleek Hudson wheel route, and that wheel route over Cleek Hudson. And Michigan's just, like I said, it's not over. I mean, it's far from over. This game is still very, very young, only 7-0. But Michigan's going to have to shore a few things up on defense. They're not bringing that much pressure. I thought they'd bring a little more, but regardless here, 2nd and 5, 2nd and goal on the 5-yard line. So Wolverines' first step getting back in this game is making a big stop here and forcing a field goal.
Yep, 2 scores hurts, but 10-0 is a lot better than 14-0.
Absolutely.
As we're at the quarter break, so we'll give you some scores from around the country. If you haven't heard yet, Illinois beat Wisconsin 24-23. Yep. We'll get you some later scores. Oregon scored 14 straight to come back and defeat Washington 35-31. But if you're a Michigan fan, hold your head high. Number 15 Texas is losing at home to Kansas right now, 17-14. The 2-4 Jayhawks looking to join the ranks of the 3-4 teams, much like the much maligned Illinois Fighting Illini did earlier today. In a big battle out west between Arizona State and Utah, that game being played in Utah. Arizona State and Herm Edwards trail 14-3 as Penn State takes the field now on the far side from us. Clifford sends a man in motion, and they got Michigan to jump. The 1-4 went wide off sides. I don't think anyone on the Penn State line moved. That should be a clear half the distance to the goal for the Nittany Lions.
Again, another just an unforced error there for the Wolverines. If you want to win these games, you can't make errors like that. That's the 2nd offsides that the Wolverines have had, and that also is part of the reason why Penn State's up 7-0 and moving the ball. So again, Michigan's got to figure a lot out if they want to, come back in this game.
So 2nd and goal it remains, but now the ball is at the 3-yard line. Michigan looks ready to get, and Metellus almost dropped offside.
Like
but
Michigan jumped again.
Yep. Now, if as either Metellus offside, he did get a man to move, so there's a chance it could be on Rasheed Walker, the left tackle for Penn State. But I think this is
definitely
offside
reactionary.
Again.
3 offside penalties here for the Michigan Wolverines. I mean, this is just stuff you cannot do.
No.
Watch the football. It's really not that hard. You look down the line of scrimmage. The football moves, then you move. If they don't, then don't move. It sounds simple, but these are just type of mistakes you can't make it for Michigan.
0 seconds have come off the clock so far in this one, but Penn State already has 4 yards in the 2nd quarter, all through penalties.
Yeah.
And this went from 2nd and goal at the 6, which is a pretty hard proposition to score from. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 1.5. And this looks so much better for Penn State already. Clifford keeps it, tries to dive forward into the end zone, touchdown Penn State.
Very nice play design there. Penn State lines up in double slot shotgun. Fakes a toss out left, and Clifford keeps it right up the middle. Again, Michigan just not playing fundamental defense. Falls for the fake toss, and Clifford basically just walk right in the end zone. Not exactly what you want to draw up here for the Wolverines, but it is what it is. These are situations you can be put in. If you're a good team, you got to be able to defeat adversity. And Michigan's going to come down here, hopefully get a good drive going and put some points on the board. But just Penn State football team just looks like they're in control. and are much more relaxed in this football game, not making mistakes, doing what they want to do. Offense is still really in full control and doing whatever they want with this Michigan defense.
Jace Pinegar will try to make this one 14-0. Ball, a little bit of trouble with the snap, but the holder gets it down, and Pinegar puts it through 14-0, much like Sean Clifford's number. 1-4 as Michigan is down big in this one. The offense has not been the problem. I mean, they've moved the ball. The problems have been the play calling to not go for it on fourth and one earlier, and then maybe not the best play call, although there is definitely up for debate whether that should have been pass interference.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can expect the home team in an environment like this might get a couple more calls their way with just the intimidation factor here. The team is so calm right now for Penn State. It's a very difficult environment to come into because you know nothing is going to go your way except what you make for yourself.
Absolutely, and it seems like you're right. It sounds like Trey Black was being held on that 4th and 4, and it looked like Cleek Hudson was being pushed off, but hey, so what? You still got to come out and play football, you know? There's nothing wrong in the officiating on that long 40-yard run or that 40-yard slant or the 40-yard fade over Ambry Thomas. So I don't know. There's a lot of things you got to do here for the Wolverines to come back, and you can't make excuses. I mean, it's not like Penn State's been getting every single call. It's just, it is what it is. You got to come out and play football. You got to shore up mistakes on the offensive defensive line. You can't go off sides. So there's a lot to happen here. There's a lot the Wolverines still can do. They can come back. I mean, it's only 14-0. More than capable of coming back. But this is what we talked about earlier. Michigan's not a team that's really prone to come back here in a tough situation, down 14-0, not an offense that they really can light up the scoreboard. So a lot's got to happen here if the Wolverines want to get back in this game.
It is a long road back into this one. We said it a lot beforehand. Michigan cannot afford to get down. No. They're not a team that seems like they've responded well to getting down.
No.
And they're also not a team that can really afford to just go to passing only. Now, Patterson, his reads have not been good today, but he looks way more comfortable with the ball in his hands than he did for the rest of the year.
He's throwing the ball pretty darn well. Some of the zone read runs, he ran that one on the first drive where he was actually tackled by the defensive end, but he was hit by the defensive end and broke out of the tackle. And then he had that, I think it was a third and 5 right before that 4th and 4 conversion, where he actually gave the ball where he should have kept it. If he kept it, he probably runs for 25, 30 yards, maybe scores a touchdown. But like you said, that's not the story of this game so far. The story of this game is mistakes on defense, the 3 offside penalties, and then giving up big plays. Michigan wants to come back and win. They got to stop making those mistakes.
As Michigan's offense will have to answer now. I don't think they can ask the defense to come in and make another stop. The defense forced to punt their first trip out there, have surrendered 2 long touchdown drives since.
I mean, not to make a bigger deal than what it is, but just to throw it out there. Dale McCaffrey is throwing the ball. Shea Patterson's also throwing the ball, but it's just something to look at because people are always calling for Dylan. The favorite position, the favorite player on every football team is the backup quarterback, but Dale McCaffrey is throwing the ball a little bit on the sideline. And it's one of those situations where he's been kind of afraid to go to Dylan McCaffrey. He did it against Wisconsin coming out of the second half, but I just don't see why that would be the problem. To me, Shea Patterson has not been the problem in this game. He's actually looked pretty decent throwing the football, so it's nothing to do with Dylan McCaffrey. It's nothing to do with Shea Patterson. Michigan's got to come out and execute a little bit better, especially on defense.
Absolutely. The offense has not been putting it. They need to have more than 0 points at this point in the game. But a couple of plays you can change, and they're rolling offensively.
And it's kind of been the problem a little bit for Wolverines, at least the last 3 years. They get in the red zone and plus territory, and they don't do anything with the ball. They're driving the ball. They're making completions down the field, but they got to put the ball in the end zone.
And that one is easily into the end zone for Penn State's kickoff specialist.
Yep.
As Jordan Stout easily gets that one nearly to the back end of the goal of the end zone. Michigan not looking to return one after the disaster they had earlier. I mean,
again, another unforced error that the Wolverines gave up.
And Michigan, they unforced error, as you mentioned, on the kickoff, running into as Giles ran into the return man and forced a fumble that might be the difference between a field goal and a touchdown on that previous Penn State
15
drive.
yards, or 10 yards, at least 10 yards.
At least 11. Not fair catching that at the very minimum. So Patterson in single back formation chooses to keep it, and he has nowhere to go. That's going to be a loss of at least 1. as there was, I think, you probably have to give that to Haskins, but
yeah, pressure coming
that was
off,
going nowhere.
Pressure coming off the left side here, and Michigan just doesn't pick it up. They just don't want to, slide over, and John Running didn't want to come and pick up the blitzer coming from it looked like it was number 12 coming off the edge here for the Penn State Nittany Lions. And really an actual big player for the Penn State. Again, Michigan not having much success on first down. Again, find themselves in a situation where they got to pick up more than 10 yards the second down to get the first down.
2nd and 11 for Patterson. Jackson comes in motion. They fake the give, and they do give it off, but that goes nowhere. That'll gain the 1 yard back from the loss on 1st and 10. So it's going to be 3rd and 10 for Michigan as Hassan Haskins can't do anything with that handoff, and Christian Turner has not been involved in this game at all.
Yeah, no Turner and not much of Charbonnet. We saw Charbonnet with his 2 really nice runs, but still, I mean, a 2nd and 11 run call. I know it was a little bit of misdirection. Giles Jackson was coming off motion, swinging out left, but still, I mean, just passing games work. Just go through the air.
Hassan Haskins remains the lone back. Nico Collins on the near side. Eubanks is the tight end. And Bell and Jones are the 2 wide receivers out wide to Patterson's left on a pivotal 3rd and 10. Patterson drops back, feels the pressure, and is going to be wrapped up by Micah Parsons for no gain. Don't think that'll go down as a sack as he took off to run and got about a half a yard before being brought down. We'll call it no gain on that one, and Michigan goes 3 and out when their offense needed, when the defense needed some points from the offense, or at least some field position help.
Exactly.
KJ Hamler now comes out onto the field, standing at his own 27, ready to set up Penn State with a short field.
Yeah, he had Ronnie Bell, it was Donovan Peoples-Jones actually open because the DB came on a blitz, and he held the ball there and took a huge sack. And it just seems like, I don't know if it's a whiteout and Penn State looks forward to this, but Penn State just got so much more energy right now than Michigan does, and it's showing.
Hamler catches at the 27, but he is tripped up immediately, and they didn't roll him down right away, but he was. Mm-hmm. He ends up fumbling forward for another yard or 2. Ultimately does not make a big difference as Jack McCleary gets in there and makes the tackle. Jake McCleary, who caught 1 touchdown against Nebraska last season, gets involved on special teams here and makes an important tackle against KJ Hamler.
Yeah, this is, I mean, I feel like I've said it every single possession, but this is huge. Michigan's been giving up the long plays here. If Michigan wants to stay in this game, they got to get a stop here. I mean, I don't know. It just really seems like this Michigan team is already defeated.
First and 10 now from their own 29 for Penn State. Michigan's defense has conceded 2 long touchdown drives, mostly coming off of 2 plays, where at least half the yardage was earned on 2 separate plays in those drives. So Michigan now shows 6 men on the line, then drop 2 in coverage. It's a pass to Hamler, who reels it in a bit far from his body. That'll be a 5-yard gain for Clifford and the Penn State offense. As Michigan has limited KJ Hamler, he only had 1 reception for 2 yards before that. Jordan Glasgow in on the tackle, as Michigan had good coverage, and Clifford had to go with the safety valve option. Yeah,
just a quick little 5-yard out, just a little check down route. And Clifford hits him here, and that's something that Michigan has not been able to do at all today. I mean, that's a quick first down play where you pick up more than 3-4 yards, and you get yourself in good position here on 2nd down.
Michigan shows 5, drops 1. That ball's tipped in the air, and that is almost picked off by Hawkins. He had to hold on to that. That hit him in the hands as he was falling, and he cannot hold on to it. That is the kind of game-changing turnover Michigan desperately needed, as Hawkins cannot come down with it. It hit him in the hands. It was a diving effort.
A really tough play. Hawkins was flowing towards the ball, rolling left, and then he had to dive off to his right. But, gosh, you said it right there. That's a type of play that changes this game. It just happens not to fall in Hawkins' hand. But
credit Aiden Hutchinson with the deflection that set that in the air toward Hawkins. So it's going to be 3rd and long now for Penn State from their own 33. Line to gain is the 39. Clifford drops back, throws to his left, and overthrows his man. That'll be a 3 and out for Penn State, their first of the game. I believe that was Devin Ford, the freshman, who was unable to be hit by Clifford. I'm not sure if he would have had the first down either way.
I don't think so. But, I mean, that's
Vincent Gray with good coverage on Devin Ford.
Yeah, Vincent Gray has actually been a guy who's came onto the field. We were talking about Vincent Gray and Daxton Hill, 2 guys who weren't expected to start, and they're not necessarily starting. They're just kind of coming in more on nickel-dime packages. And both of them have played pretty exceptional so far this year, and that's a big play by Vincent Gray, where Clifford can't complete the pass, but that's exactly what Michigan needed, a 3 and out, and they're back in this one.
So, hello, Blake Gillikin out there to punt again. That was nearly blocked. Michigan's been bringing the noise. Donovan Peoples-Jones catches it and tries to fight forward. Doesn't go anywhere, though, maybe 2 yards, and that was too risky to bother returning.
Yeah, you got a fair catch that one. It was one of those mistakes where if you make a mistake there, the game just seems like it's almost over at that point. You muff it, they get the ball on the 25-yard line, they go in and score. It's a 3-possession game. So I agree with you, Daniel. It's one of those plays where you just fair catch it and you take what you got. You cut your losses.
Yeah, he got about 1 yard. Instead of starting at the 25, Michigan will start at their own 26 because of that. That was very risky. Jones has been known for doing that. He does tend to have pretty good hands. Michigan has had issues with their punt returners so far, but
yeah, a lot of fumbles on the punting game. Actually, DPJ had one against Iowa, I believe it was, and Michigan recovered their own fumble. Yeah, it was against Iowa. Coming on the left sideline, we tried that little spin move, and they got poked from the back, and Michigan recovered their own fumble. And everybody remembers that muff punt against I believe it was South Carolina in the Outback Bowl, DPJ's freshman year. And that's a long time ago, and stuff like that happens. But, again, Michigan come back here, settle down, get the ball in the air. Shea's looked decent so far. Shea's been able to stay in the pocket and deliver more than 10, 15-yard passes. They do that. Michigan get the ball rolling here. Get a touchdown here would be huge. Obviously huge for the Wolverines.
Turnovers have been a big part of Michigan's struggles offensively so far this season. They have yet to turn it over here. They turned it over twice, I believe, against Wisconsin. Twice while the game was still competitive at the very least. A Patterson fumble and a Patterson interception buried them. But it's been a similar story here where Penn State comes out and just plays better than Michigan, too. And if you turn it over, you absolutely bury yourself. Hawkins nearly picked that one out of the air after a great deflection by Hutchinson, and that would have kept Michigan. That would have really brought Michigan back.
Michigan had the ball on the 35-yard line looking to score in red zone. But I think this is probably the loudest I've heard the Michigan fans over this entire game. You know, Mr. Brightside, Mr. Brightside, the sound that comes on for the Wolverines always in the third quarter.
Is the stadium operator aware that this is kind of the Michigan song?
Well, hey, you remember last year when Michigan whooping on Penn State?
Yeah,
they played Mo Bamba and they played the We Are Penn State song, kind of trolling them a little bit. I don't think it's really a troll. Mr. Brightside, just an instant classic that every college in the country should just blare and sing off top of their lungs. But
Michigan has lost 9 fumbles going into this one. Risked it there on the punt return, but Jones ultimately never even showed any signs of losing it. Just he wouldn't go down. There were like 4 defenders in the area, and he just kept trying to fight forward.
Like I said, man, like you're alluding to right now, it's one of those plays where the risk is far worse than the reward. You know, the risk by far outweighs the reward. It's not like DPJ's and break 5 tackles and burst off a 77-yard touchdown return. But if he muffs the punt and it goes into Penn State's hands, that's a huge, huge turn of events.
So 1st and 10 from the 26. Michigan's offense can at least take some assurity knowing that their defense just forced a 3-and-out. They might not have to score on this drive if the defense keeps it up, but there's going to be a lot of pressure to do so. 11:53, so there's still a lot of time to play in this.
Absolutely.
Even in this
to remember,
first
Penn
half.
State does get the ball coming out of half, so Michigan's going to keep this game relatively close going in the second half.
It's a give to Charbonnet, who fights forward for maybe 2 yards. Didn't have much room to go as Penn State has been really stuffing the A-gaps in this one, not giving Michigan any room to run down the gut.
Yeah, and they've been, like you said, the running game really hasn't done much besides those 2 runs we saw from Charbonnet, I believe on the 3rd drive of the game. So, again here, it's Shea going to have to compose himself a little bit. The offense working itself out, and some kinks they got to work out, but they get a drive going here, again, back in it.
And Micah Parsons with another tackle. He has been all over the field on this one. Patterson rolls to his left, fires to Black, who catches it, coming back, tries to dance past the 30 and falls forward to the 32 for a modest gain of, we'll call it 5 yards.
Again, they had Ronnie Bell on about like 16, 17-yard flag that I think Shea could have completed that pass. He was pretty open, man. And again, one-on-one coverage, those are the plays that Michigan needs to make, and Shea decides to dump it off at Tariq Black, which wasn't a bad decision. Puts Michigan in a doable 3rd and 4 here.
Yep, we'll call it 3rd and manageable now for the Wolverines.
Big play, though. Big play. We've been talking about it all day. This is the play that Michigan needs to make. They want to be a tough, competitive team. They got to get these kind of first downs. They have got 2 big 3rd down conversions.
They have. The crowd here getting loud in Happy Valley. He hits Jones in stride. He's going to get the first down in a couple more yards. Another big 3rd down pickup for Michigan. They've been having their most success on 3rd down.
Yeah, oddly enough. And they've all come by 3 passing plays. A good little route there, sideways V that Donovan Peoples-Jones gets over the middle for about a 6-7-yard pickup. Smartly enough, on that play, we're talking about his punt. Before he gets hit, kind of just ducks down a little bit. Doesn't want to take big contact, doesn't want to fumble. And the Wolverines get here and pick up a key first down on 3rd down.
Credit John Sutherland with the tackle as Michigan is now at the Penn State 40, 10-12 to play in this half. They fake to get to Charbonnet. Play action. Patterson has all day again. Fires downfield. Flag flies to Nico Collins. And Nico Collins has that at the 15. 2 flags on the play. We'll see what they are. But Michigan right now might have the ball at the 15. But preliminary signals are a push-off against Nico Collins. But there may have been defensive holding, so this could be offsetting at the very least. And if you're Nico Collins, if you see that flag fly, just don't need a penalty.
That's not a penalty on Nico Collins. How's it on Nico? Nico's getting wrapped around on his right shoulder. He comes back towards the ball. I don't see where they can make that penalty on Nico Collins.
We're looking at it again on the big board.
That's, if anything, that's a hold on Penn State. That should not be coming back.
Yeah, I don't think there's a flag there in any circumstance.
That's a horrible call. That is
holding. So yeah, holding on the defense called pass interference on the offense. That'll offset. Michigan they could have gotten 5 yards on the first down.
That is a big flag. Michigan converts that play on the 15-yard line. They have a first and 10 on the 15 on a non-existent offensive pass interference on Nico Collins. I just don't see where you make that call. It's one of those plays that just they're going for the ball. Ball's thrown behind him. He makes a play on the ball. How can you call that a pass interference? It makes no sense. You swallow the whistle and you let the kids play. Michigan gets a big play and it gets negated by a horrible, horrible pass interference call.
So 1st and 10 now for Michigan yet again from the 40. Patterson drops back. Doesn't have so much time this time. Finds Charbonnet, who cannot corral it. That was a wild throw. John Sutherland levels Charbonnet after the play. They're not going to flag that one, though.
Of course not. But it's one of those, I don't know, it's just one of those situations where it is so defeating. Michigan's got to work on it. And I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's a warrant of a 15-yard penalty, but why do you hit Charbonnet after that? The ball's laying on the ground right in front of him.
He saw the ball.
And he goes at his knees. Like, that's a 15-yard penalty, too. I don't know. I think we're finding nicky little pick stuff here, but I don't know. Officiating has been questionable so far here.
So Patterson in single back formation from the shotgun. Sends Tariq Black in motion. Ball is snapped. Looks to Tariq Black. Instead, dumps it off in the backfield, and that ball is picked off. Picked off by Penn State. I believe Cam Brown is the first to get their flag is thrown after the play. That won't change anything. But it is Tariq Castro Fields of Penn State who comes up with that as Patterson threw that into a field of blue shirts. And I don't know what Patterson's thinking on that play.
I just incredibly infuriating. A big play there for Nico Collins.
So the intercepting team is charged with a penalty that will spare Michigan some field position, and the ball will be placed right around midfield. But what on earth is Shea Patterson thinking here? He throws it toward Michael Wainu, and then Castro Fields.
Charbonnet was leaking out for a screen, but there's just so much congestion there. There's so much going on at the screen point that you just don't make that throw. You see Tom Brady do it all the time. Just throw it at his legs. Just dart it right at the ground in the area of Zach Charbonnet. You get the incompletion. You move on at 3rd and 10. But, I mean, to go back to that point, I don't know how. I don't know how in the world you can call that a pass interference on Nico Collins down there on the 15-yard line. That was a game-changing play that it's one of those plays that people are going to talk about. There's always 6 or 7 plays in the game that affects the outcome. That's going to be one of them.
1st and 10 from the 49. It's a fake reverse toward the direction of the right sideline. Instead, Clifford keeps it. He has nowhere to go. Carlo Kemp got into the backfield, and that might go down as a loss for the Nittany Lions. Official spot is no gain. So 2nd and 10 just across midfield at the Michigan 49. And Ricky Slade probably should have kept that ball. He might have had some room to go, but instead Clifford decides to keep it himself, and Carlo Kemp gets off a block and meets him immediately. 2nd and 10, 9:12 to go in this one until the half. Clifford in the shotgun formation, drops back, rolls to his right, has Slade open, but looks downfield, throws deep, and has a man. I believe that's Hamler. He dropped it, though. No, they really caught it. So that'll be a 1st down for Penn State. As we see, he had Ricky Slade for 5 yards, instead goes for the big gain. That'll be a 1st down and a cross to the 35-yard line toward the 32.
Just a very, very nice catch there. You know, Hamler throws it right at, Wofford throws it right on, Hamler gets the ball right at the chest, and he bobbles it and corrals the ball. Great focus there, big play for the Nittany Lions.
On the read option, it's a give to Slade, who has nowhere to go. That'll be 2 yards. As that's one where Clifford could have kept that himself on the arc read and had a handsome gain for himself. Kwity Paye was completely committed to stopping Slade.
Yeah. Kwity Paye actually is the one who makes the tackle. But, again, Penn State's offense is looking pretty darn efficient. They get the ball in plus territory. They get a 1st down here. But, again, here on 2nd and 8, Wolverine's got to make a stop here. This is big. And they're pretty darn close to field goal range, if not already in field goal range. So let's see what Michigan can do here.
First and 10 from the 30. Clifford drops back. He's going to run for it now. Cross the 25 and slides just in front of the first down marker. Jordan Glasgow was there to stop him, so it will be 3rd and short. Ball will be spotted at around the 25. 3 yards to go now for Penn State on 3rd down.
Yeah, that's the third time today that we've seen Clifford either on a QB draw or just going up the middle and a pass routes where he's got wide open field. If that happens, you probably should put a spy on Clifford. You got to get somebody over the middle, whether it's McGroon, whether it's Glasgow, somebody. You put a spy on Clifford because they're getting torched right now by that QB draw.
Clifford standing at his own 31 in the shotgun on 3rd and short. Drops back, looks to throw. Pocket collapsing, has Kamler in the end zone, and he connects with him. Touchdown, Penn State. He beat Hawkins off the line of scrimmage, who had contained Hamler very well up until this point. Got loose there, though, for the 25-yard touchdown to K.J. Hamler, and Michigan is buried in this one.
Yup, and that's just trips formation. The outside receiver and the inside receiver both run. It seemed like both run slants, and Hamler just goes off on a wheel route, wide open, torches Brad Hawkins. I mean, I probably could have made that throw for a touchdown, and Penn State just takes a absolute commanding 21-0 lead here. Just doesn't seem like there's much Michigan can do right now. Defense is giving up big plays. Offense is a bad, stupid turnover here in plus territory, and Penn State is just absolute and dominant command of this game.
As Jake Pinegar puts one through the uprights, 21-0. There are still 37 minutes and 22 seconds of football to be played in Happy Valley tonight. But I don't know how many of those will be considered garbage time, as Michigan is slipping away in this one. Offense showed some signs of life early in this one, and then Patterson with this catastrophic interception.
Yeah, and it's not to go back to it, not to be a broken record, but again, there's been 3 calls, all on ginormous plays that really went against Michigan. That it's not controlling this game. Michigan still made horrible mistakes. They've given up big plays, but there was that wheel route in the end zone where it should have looked like Penn State's tight end pushed off. Nico Collins here gets called on a horrible pass interference. And on that 4th and 4, it sure looked like Tariq Black was being held. A clear pass interference that gives Michigan a first down, whether it gives Michigan the 15-yard line to Nico Collins or it doesn't give Penn State a touchdown in the back of the end zone. There's just a lot going on for the Wolverines, and nothing seems like it's going their way, whether it's their own performance or something they can't control. This is just a 21-0 game in an atmosphere that you don't want to be in, that's really hard to come back from, where the Wolverines are just looking really, really bleak right now.
And Wisconsin, they did it on the ground. They torched Michigan with Jonathan Taylor. They made Jack Cohn do very, very little. I believe he had 12 attempts in that whole game. Right now, Sean Clifford has 12 attempts in about 22 and a half minutes of football. He has 12 attempts, 108 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So you can torch Michigan on the ground. You can torch Michigan through the air with a good runoff, with a good passing offense. You're going to score on Michigan with a good offensive running game. You're going to score on Michigan. We saw Wisconsin do it on the ground. Penn State does it through the air.
Yeah.
Penn State does have 82 rushing yards, but it's almost all
on
that
one play.
Their long is 44, so they have over half their yards on that one play.
And Wisconsin's a little bit of a different story because, we know Jonathan Taylor and that fantastic offensive line. But what I just don't understand is that Michigan is it's just a situation. Like, if you're a Division I football player, and I mean, obviously we're not Division I football players. We've never been in this situation. But this is a type of game that you want to be in, You're in Penn State. You're in State College in a night game. And they've just made really bad mistakes. It seems like they have no energy. It seems like they're not energetic at all. And we've seen 3 offsides penalties. We've seen really, really unill-advised mistakes. And the Michigan Wolverines just find themselves in a hole that seems like they can't climb out of. And again, it's make or break for the Wolverines right here. They want to get back in this game. They have to go down and score. This is huge.
And at what point does Michigan have to make a change to their game plan?
I mean, I think they got to change their game plan right now. I mean, maybe not offensively, but defensively, they got to switch some stuff up. They're going to be on man-to-man coverage. We saw Cleat Cutson out of position. We saw Brad Hawkins get absolute torture. Ambry Thomas off the jump, off the hedge, got really beat really bad, and eventually came back on it, and it seemed like it was a decent play, but Clifford just made a really nice pass. But nonetheless, there's 3 plays on man-to-man coverage that Penn State has beat Michigan. All have been big plays, and all really have, sort of came into that 21-0 lead.
Jordan Stott ready to get things underway as Penn State's offense is scoring at will, more so than even Ohio State's did in Columbus last year.
Yeah.
Ball hits the S in the
end
end zone.
Difference in that game is like Michigan can score the ball a little bit in Columbus. Right now, it seems like the offense is it's making the first couple steps. Off the jumper looks good. Then they get to a certain part of the field and they don't do anything. So.
And Patterson does come out with the offense again. It will be Haskins again, who has been played a very big part of this offense after not being super involved earlier in the year. Nico Collins going out wide left, and Donovan Peoples-Jones toward the near sideline near us. We'll see if either of them get involved in this drive. And now it's Collins coming in motion to be stacked up alongside Jones. Shotgun formation. They give it to Haskins, who has nowhere to run. Micah Parsons again, that has to be his 5th tackle at least of the day. Wraps up Haskins, who has nowhere to go. And where is Christian Turner?
I don't know. Where's Christian? Where's Zach Charbonnet? Like,
at this point, I think Turner's hurt because he has not played one
Yeah, he has to be hurt. That's got to be what it is. But I don't know. Michigan just gotta do something else, man. On first down, passing's going well. Work a little play action. Try to get something going. They're just not doing it all. Penn State trying to bring pressure up the middle here.
2nd and 9.5. Patterson drops back, throws, has Nico Collins, who breaks one tackle, has one man to beat now. He's got the 45-50 and stumbles out of bounds at the 40, and that's a great play from Nico Collins, a dynamic playmaker, an unbelievably gifted athlete who Michigan was able to pluck from Alabama in Jim Harbaugh's big recruit to steal players from the South, as they finally used that fancy tool they fought so hard against Southern coaches to earn. And he puts Michigan across midfield for the first time since their first drive.
For sure, and that's the stuff I'm talking about. The passing game hasn't been that bad. Just go to it. Just air mail it. Just why not? It's working. Do it. Keep doing it until I stop it. Why not?
1st and 10 from the Penn State 44. As there was movement. We'll see if it's on Michigan or Ohio State, but Penn State, and early indications.
Looks like false start in Michigan, but number 6 on Penn State came off the edge, Cam Brown, and it sure made it look like John Runyon move. And I'm not sure about that, but like I was talking about earlier, it didn't seem like Cam Brown came over the defense, came off or over the line of scrimmage, and Runyon kind of moved off by himself.
And it was John Runyon who was charged with the false start. So 1st and 15 now. We saw Tariq Castro-Fields get the interception that ended the previous Michigan drive, but Nico Collins blew right by and broke his ankles for a second, it looked like. I'd just say feed Nico at this point.
I agree.
Instead, they feed Haskins, who breaks free and is across the 40, but to the 39, so it will be 2nd and medium following a unfortunate false start. Michigan gains about 10 yards on that play as Haskins accelerates through a gap.
Back in position here. Really, really nice job by Michigan moving the ball here quickly and efficiently, getting the ball here sitting about 39-yard line. Again, there's still 5 minutes left in this game. You punch it in. Hopefully you score around the 3-4 yard line. Michigan has 2 timeouts left. Maybe they can work in a couple of touchdowns here and make this a relatively close game going in the second half. But first off, they got to score a touchdown in this drive.
Cam Brown and Ellis Brooks in on the tackle. Michigan has never had a comeback of greater than 21 points as they hand it off to Haskins, who is into the second level again and brings a man with him across the line to gain for a Michigan first down. I believe that was Jan Johnson who ended up tackling Haskins, not before he got the first down, though. So Haskins, for the first time today, really establishing his presence in this game, just had 4 carries for 3 yards, I believe, before that last carry. He's finally getting his numbers up.
Again, you brought it up. Nico Collins on the outside, one-on-one. Let him run a post up the middle. Give him a jump ball. That guy's been great doing it.
Instead to get to Haskins, who has nowhere to go, but he carries men with him to fight a very hard-earned no gain. That is one of the best no gains I've ever seen from a running back.
What's his spot on the top judge here? The bottom judge is giving Michigan a yard. The top judge on the Penn State sideline is saying it's a 2-yard loss. I don't know what the heck is going on, and they give Michigan a 2-yard loss. Where Hassan Haskins, not Dwayne Haskins.
It's very, very interesting for Michigan fans to have to convert from not liking guys named Haskins to being big fans of them. But it looks like Robert Windsor and Antonio Shelton were 2 of the first ones there. Robert Windsor had a phenomenal game against Iowa last week, making his presence
Nico
felt.
one-on-one here at the bottom. Feed him.
Patterson
over top.
Drops back, 2nd and 10. He has all day, can step up to run. He does, and is going to get forward for about 8 yards, and they do not throw a flag for a late hit. That's one that you would have never expected a flag from 10 years ago, but in today's day and age, that gets flagged half the time.
And it's very, very close. It's one of those situations where No, I don't call that a 15-yard penalty. It's one of those plays where the defensive player is already committed on tackling Shea, and Shea kind of gives him a late slide, and the defensive player just happens to hit him when Shea's on the ground. But again, regardless, close play. That doesn't go Michigan's way, but I agree with the call.
Lamont weighed in on the tackle that brings up 3rd and medium. The line to gain is the 23-yard line, Michigan at the 28. Patterson drops back, fires to Jones, who has it right around the line to gain. It's going to be a tight one. He falls out of bounds. The initial spot is a Michigan first down. They pick up the sticks, and Michigan is rolling right now offensively by far and away the best drive of the game. They've shot themselves in the foot with off false starts, but they're still rolling. They've established the run.
Here, you got the first couple steps down. You're making baby steps. You get in the red zone. Now it's time to score. They got to watch the time here a little bit with 3:20 to go, but they got to score a touchdown here, get himself back in this game.
Charbonnet back in the game on the last play. He remains the lone back as Michigan has been committed to one running back all game. It's play action. Patterson successfully gets it to Jones, and the ball pops out into the air, and Michigan has caught it. That's a touchdown. Flag on the field. We'll see if that calls, but Jones caught the ball. The ball got popped out, and then Bell catches it out of the air and runs in for the touchdown.
A real tough stick on Donovan Peoples-Jones. He's hurt on the 12-yard line right now, but man, that was a very exciting play. Curious to see what the penalty is going to be. It's coming off the side, so I'm not sure if it's neutral zone infraction, maybe a holding on the edge on the defense on the tight end. Great ball awareness by Ronnie Bell to come up and get the ball in the air.
And it's going to be an eligible man downfield, so Michigan, that is all for nothing as Peoples-Jones is not helped off the field, gets off under his own power. But that's a scary shot for him. It was a legal hit. Jaquan Brisker just dropped. He dropped his helmet and let in shoulder first as Cesar Ruiz went on the play action. You can go 3 yards in college football. They give you a lot, which is why RPO and play action works so well in college, because you can really sell the run on pass plays. But he exceeded that 3-yard buffer the offensive linemen are granted.
Yeah.
And that wipes off a Michigan touchdown.
Another unforced mistake where Michigan scores a touchdown, and they find themselves here on a 1st and 15 in a tough situation, as Beaver Stadium is about as loud as it's been all night.
1st and 15. Patterson doesn't have much time. Fires toward the end zone, and that's pass interference, clear as day. Tariq Black was being held by the man. We'll see if it's pass interference or a holding. Either way, first down Michigan, and we only hope Peoples-Jones can get back in this game. It looked like a hit to the shoulder or his elbow. We'll see how he's doing. We'll update you whenever we can. And they called pass interference, so that's big for Michigan. That will move the ball quite a bit downfield.
Yeah, Shea does seem kind of shaken up. He's gripping that right arm of his. I don't know if it's his elbow or his shoulder. He's trying to rotate it a little bit, but Shea's arm's hanging a little bit too, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on here.
That might have been a horse collar against Patterson that roughed him up.
Big play here. First
and 10 from the 12.
Yeah, 1st and 10 from the 12. Got to get in the end zone here. 3:01 left in the first half.
Charbonnet is the back, and he gets the carry. He has room around the edge, and he walks into the end zone for a Michigan touchdown. The perfect play called right there. They had Charbonnet running away from every other wide receiver, and that is a Michigan first down.
I will say Michigan is very, very fortunate. Nick Eubanks on the end absolutely held the Penn State defensive end. Michigan gets a call going their way. Fortunately, number 20 on Penn State. Big play there for the Wolverines. Again, they get in the end zone. They deliver themselves a little bit. And Michigan's got a chance to climb back in here. Huge touchdown, but a really good drive by Michigan. A lot happened there. We saw that tough play on Donovan Peoples-Jones, but they collected themselves. They had a good drive, and they put the ball in the end zone. Big drive there for the Wolverines.
And now Michigan at least gets on the board. They have 2 minutes 55 seconds to play defense.
2 timeouts.
I don't know if they can. They just got to keep Penn State off the board right now. They don't get the ball to start the next half.
Absolutely critical, and that's something we saw against Rutgers. It's something we saw against Iowa, where Michigan and Don Brown love to play man-on-man coverage. The key thing is right now, if you have 4 guys lined up in coverage, you can have 4 guys in man responsibility, but you need 2 safeties over the top. Everybody on Penn State has to stay in front of Michigan, and especially the secondary and the safeties here for Michigan. Nobody can get beat over top, and you can't give up ginormous holes on big runs. 2:55 here. I don't think Penn State's going to come out here and be too aggressive. They get the ball coming in the second half, up 21-7. Again, nobody gets behind you, and nobody gives up huge holes. Everybody needs to maintain their gap responsibilities, close down the offense and defensive line, and Michigan possibly here, if they get 2 quick plays, timeout, maybe Penn State tries to pass, can get the ball back with, maybe about, 2 minutes, minute and a half left.
But this next 2 defensive stops will be huge for Michigan. Michigan's offense, despite having just had their best drive, a pretty inspiring drive, one where they kept committing penalties but continued to move the ball. They might not get the ball back until they're down 28. It's a 14-point game right now, 21-7, 2:55 to go in the second quarter. It might be a 35-7 game when they get the ball back, as Penn State gets the opening kickoff of the second half.
Exactly. But it's got to be important here for Michigan. Not necessarily caring about getting the ball back, but like you said, just get the stop. Don't give up another touchdown. Don't give up a touchdown coming out of the second half. But this is one of those situations where Michigan really needs to shore up certain things. Stupid penalties. We've seen, I don't know what the penalty count is right now, but I can't imagine that Michigan is being held under 40 yards of penalty. And we saw that penalty, Nico Collins, that should not have been called, that was. But Michigan's got to relax itself a little bit, get a stop here, and then certain things can go on and move forward.
As we're at a TV timeout here, Penn State trying to get the crowd back into it as they play KJ Hamler on the big board, trying to lead the "We Are Penn State" chant and living on a prayer.
Again,
so far, pretty ineffectual.
Yep, these long TV timeouts, something we've been very, very accustomed to here in college football. Something that seems like it's just growing and growing and growing more.
As for the first time all day, we're going to see Jake Moody.
Yeah, it's nice to see.
Yeah, well, welcome to the football game.
Welcome to Penn State, Jake. Kick the ball through the end zone. Stick him on the 25-yard line. This Beaver Stadium crowd is just living and living on a prayer here.
I could spend every home game here. Their tailgate atmosphere here is amazing. You're up in the beautiful Appalachian Mountains here in central Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It is truly remarkable.
Like we were talking about, it seemed like as soon as you got across the Ohio-Pennsylvania border, man, the colors are coming out. It looks like fall weather. It looks like fall weather. It's just a beautiful place to be. Like you said, we're driving up the Appalachian Mountains. At one point, we were at the top of a hill, and we're looking down into a valley with orange and red and green colors. And I really, really enjoyed my stay here at Pennsylvania so far.
Moody has a good booming kick, but wisely fair caught.
Very interesting. Penn State was trying the Minneapolis, or no, excuse me, it was the Minneapolis Miracle. Oh, no, sorry, it's the, which one was it? Music City Miracle.
Oh,
that's right. Where one guy on the other side of Penn State is laying down, and the one returner throws it to the other side of the field, and the other kick returner just runs straight up the sideline. They had it set up, but the one guy actually called a fair catch. It was fine. It's actually pretty open.
That's a weird thing to, if you're Penn State, that can go wrong. If the lateral isn't caught, you turn it over to Michigan, and that's
to be honest, do you know why they did that? That's the type of things that James Franklin does. James Franklin really loves to roll the dice, and after a big play, Michigan gets a little bit of momentum. He wants to take away that momentum. But wisely enough there, the Penn State kick returner fair catches it, and they're here on the 25-yard line.
1st and 10 from the 25. You can hear a pin drop as the home crowd silences for the Penn State offense. Handoff had nowhere to go, but the running back kept his feet moving and nearly turned that into a decent 5-yard gain. It was Jerry Brown yet again, who got, we'll call it 3 yards on that one.
Yeah.
And that's going to consume some clock here. Michigan, they really
not taking a timeout here. I don't.
It's too early to take a timeout in my mind at least. 3.5 we'll give it. Ball on between the 28 and the 29. Michigan with some confusion on the line. Uche finally gets set. Clifford sees something he doesn't like after Michigan sets up and audibles. We'll see what Clifford thought up as Freiermuth moves to his right. Clifford drops back, has time to throw, and now he can run for it. He lobs it downfield, though he's got a man wide open and doesn't hit him. That was too far down the field. He might have been across the line and would have been an illegal forward pass.
It's really close. The rule is you can have literally any part of your body behind the line of scrimmage, and the line of the play markers at the 29-yard line, he was definitely behind the line. That was a clean pass.
Okay.
But it was really close, and man, if they make that catch there, that's a huge play. Dotson had a step on Ambry Thomas, but fortunately it's not converted into Michigan here, saving some time here.
3rd and medium. He had a first down, I think, if he kept the ball in
I agree. He had more than he had.
But
maybe
that's a
15,
gamble with
yards.
only 2.5 to go in the half. That's a gamble you take and go for the man who's beat his defender. Instead, he can't hit him, though. Now Michigan given new life on 3rd and long now. Pocket collapsing. Clifford lobs one downfield toward nobody whatsoever, and that should be intentional grounding.
Absolutely should be intentional grounding. That has to be called. There's not a single wide receiver within 20 yards of that play. That is most definitely an intentional grounding. Nothing being called here.
And the refs are conferencing now. This has to be called. There was no one within 30 yards of the field. and because the quarterback was outside the pocket, yep, that's fair enough. Yeah, I got a little bit distracted by the fact that there was no one within 30 yards of the ball. Only Michigan defenders were remotely near it.
But they're right. I thought they were lined up on the left hash. They were lined up on the right hash. So obviously the pocket changes. He was around that left hash. He wasn't outside the left hash. He was just inside of it and just got rid of it. That is very close. That is very close.
And it's a low punt. That one hits the 50 and kind of stops moving. It trickles to the 49, 35, 36 and takes a very fortunate roll for Penn State. A minute 54 still to go.
Two timeouts. And Dre and I twice have been on the call where with both Rutgers and Iowa, where Michigan had really, really horrible clock management before the first half here. So they're going to have to settle some things out and move the ball through the air. Obviously, we know in college football, if you get a first down, the clock stops until the chains are set. You have 2 timeouts to work with. Michigan has a chance here to get a huge touchdown before halftime and make this a one-possession game.
And they have to play defense to start the second half, so this is colossal to get points here.
Huge.
That was an awful punt. It landed at like the Penn State 45, then it took a good bounce, hit the Penn State 50 and just slowed down, but the ball just kept rolling and rolling and rolling.
Something's conversing down where Jim Harbaugh. 2 referees are at Jim. Here comes the head umpire. Man, it looks like he's laying into Jim Harbaugh. I don't know. No flag has been thrown, nothing yet. I'm not exactly sure what's going on here.
Play clock has been stopped.
Maybe Harbaugh's arguing something. It looks like it's Jay Harbaugh again that is going off. He just kind of ripped down his headset. I don't exactly know what they're arguing there, so maybe we'll find that out later and get it back to you guys. But again, here Michigan starting off this big drive, minute 53 left in the second quarter.
Yep, so now they start the play clock back from where they paused it. Ultimately, so they gave Harbaugh time to talk. Now 20 seconds on the play clock, plenty of time to get it off. Patterson drops back. He has some room to run, but he looks downfield, hits a man, and that's a first down for Michigan. Donovan Peoples-Jones is back in this game and makes his presence felt immediately. Ball up to the Penn State 44, and Michigan's offense is humming right now. Tariq Castro-Fields in on the coverage. As Michigan, it's not that hard. Get the ball to the 5-star receivers.
And big play there. Donovan Peoples-Jones gets out of bounds. Clock stops also, but guess what? He's out of bounds. Clock stops completely. Clock will not roll here with the chain set.
And that'll save him at least 3 seconds.
Absolutely.
So 148, Patterson feels pressure, steps up, and he's going to throw this one away. Wise call by Patterson.
He did have Nick Eubanks as he was rolling out, coming off on a 15-yard out around the 29-yard line, who was wide open. But that's one of those plays where he didn't really break off his route until Shea was definitely deciding to throw the ball away. Again, the pocket collapses. Shea rolls out right. Nick Eubanks actually breaks off pretty darn early. He could have completed that pass, but nonetheless, regardless, Shea gets rid of it, which is a good play. You don't take the sack. Don't have to force a timeout called by Michigan. 2nd and 10 here on the 45-yard line.
The crowd is up here shaking their pom-poms and making themselves heard here in State College. Patterson now in the shotgun formation. Charbonnet the back. Drops back. He's under pressure right now. Hits Charbonnet for a modest gain. That'll go down for about a 4-yard gain, and Michigan should be calling it timeout now. Or then maybe you want to let the clock run and not give Penn State the ball back. 3rd down now.
Yeah, right there. You have a minute.
3rd and 6.
25 left.
You got to let the clock run and not give Penn State a chance to quickly score. I think you got to play
a field goal. Penn State does have 3 timeouts, but it's one of those situations where
I think a field goal is valuable here too. On the last drive, it was meant nothing.
If that was 2nd down, I call timeout.
Yes,
third down now.
I agree. So 3rd and 6. Michigan has been good on 3rd down this game. We'll see what they draw up here. 14-point lead for Penn State. Minute 03 to play in this half. Patterson drops back, and that is too short. Bell can't get it, and that's going to stop the clock. 56 seconds, and you can't kick a field goal here.
No, you have to punt it. You have to punt it. If you miss a field goal, you put the ball on the 45-yard line, and the offense is staying on the field. I sure hope they don't. If they're not going to go for it on 4th and 1, they definitely can't go for it on 4th and 5.
This is very inconsistent.
And here comes the punting team.
And that's a hard pill for Michigan to swallow. They were close.
They have a chance here to put some points on the board. Again, if that pass is completed, it's down at the 38-yard line within, Quinn Nordine's 55-yard field goal range. You can make that kick. So they are attempting a field goal as Quinn Nordine is out on the field right now. This is about a 58-yard field goal, and Michigan calls a timeout. So.
And that was a Michigan timeout.
That's not Quinn Nordine. It looks like that's Jake Moody.
Is that 3 or 2? That's Nordine. No, that's Moody. That
is
is
Jake Moody.
It's so hard to tell. 3 and 2.
And that's not Jake Moody's range. Jake Moody's hasn't been able to show that he can kick a 58-yard field goal. I don't know where Quinn Nordine is.
We haven't seen him this game. I believe
what's Quinn doing?
Kicked the extra point.
I mean, this is
Michigan's had bad kicking problems lately.
This is like this may be a very premature conversation, but if Quinn Nordine, this is Quinn Nordine's range. This is kind of his role in the kicking game. He kicks those 50-plus yard field goals. I mean, could Quinn be in the transfer portal? Could he be thinking about it? It's really early to talk about that, but this is definitely Quinn's kicking situation. Is he hurt? I don't really know. This is a really, I personally do not kick this ball with Jake Moody. You've never seen him kick it over. I've never seen him kick it over 48 yards. So
he has to have some sort of a leg because he is the kickoff specialist, but does he have the leg and the accuracy together?
This is a really tough play. If Michigan does not get this, Penn State gets the ball on the 40-plus yard line.
And Penn State has to be thinking about a fake right now because this is such a bizarre decision to kick. Will Hart kneeling on the near hash mark exactly on the 48-yard hash mark. This will be a 58-yarder. Crowd is bumping right now in State College. The kick is up, end over end. It's going to be short, and that lands in the end zone. Wow. They should have had someone back to try to kick six that.
Just a really horrible decision.
Yeah,
just a really bad decision.
Penn State's
got 3 timeouts on the 50-yard line, on the 40-yard line. 51 seconds left. You just can't make that decision. You can't. If you're not gonna risk a 4th and 1, why do you risk a 50-yard field goal? It's just really inconsistency. It's not having confidence in your play calling. It's not having confidence in your decision making. Now Michigan's with their backs against the wall. 3 timeouts. Penn State. We were talking about it with 3:30 left. Penn State could be up 35-7. Well, they still could be up 35-7. They still could score a touchdown here and a touchdown to open up second half. That's a horrible decision. You let Will Hart punt it through the back of the end zone. Take the ball on the 25-yard line. Whatever. Really, really bad decision of the Wolverines. And let's see if Penn State can capitalize.
Clifford now with the ball at his own 41. Great field position for the Nittany Lions. Uche shows blitz, and he gets there, disrupts Clifford, who still completes at the Fryermuth, who cannot get out of bounds.
He's inbounds.
And that will make Penn State burn a timeout, I anticipate. Clock is still rolling, 40 seconds, 39.
This is one of those
second
mistakes.
and 3.
James Franklin has to call timeout here. You have to call timeout. You just burned 9 seconds. You have to call timeout.
32. Clifford gets the snap off. Feeling pressure, running to his right. That is not going to be catchable, except for maybe Medalist, who doesn't get there. That was Lavert Hill, rather. 27 seconds to go, and now it's 3rd down.
Yeah, that was just a horrible. We talk about James Franklin's clock management, his game management. That was a horrible call. You have 3 timeouts. College football, if you get the first down, and if you're inbounds, the clock stops, and it doesn't start until the chains are set. So you only call timeouts when you don't get first downs. They didn't get a first down. He should have called timeout. He doesn't. Penn State wastes about 9 seconds. So now if Penn State gets a first down here, they only got about 20 seconds to work with.
And it's 3rd and 3 right now.
So it's 3rd and 3.
No guarantee they pick this up.
The nice thing is if you call timeout too, you have time to decide to play.
Clifford's going to keep it. Does he get there? No, he's stuffed. No way he got to that. He's
short.
He's shy of the 50. The first down marker's on the other side of the 50. And Michigan, why not
Michigan
call timeout?
Michigan called timeout instead of punt return.
They did. They called timeout. 21 seconds. We are stuck there. Did Penn State really call that timeout? I'm being told.
Michigan calls.
No, Penn State called it. The referees are signaling Penn State.
And
what is James Franklin doing? The ball's at the 50.
What are you doing?
If you turn it over here, Michigan is going to have a chance to score. This has been.
You know what it could be. James Franklin could be setting up a 4th and 1 play here. He may be going for it. That's why he may have called that timeout. He figures himself, if I get the first down here, I'm at the 50-yard line, I can sort of work some things out. But if you don't get the first down, Michigan's offense hasn't been too great in plus territory. So,
well, the offense came off the field, but they're coming back on. I see Fryermuth. Do I see Clifford?
Nope,
no, this is the punt unit.
What is James Franklin doing?
This has been the last 4 plays have been some of the worst coaching decisions I've seen in my life.
What are you doing?
Harbaugh.
You can't. You have that situation set before. Whether or not if it's 4th and 1, you want to punt or not punt. So I just that was mind-boggling.
Blake Gillikin, whose last punt was ugly, gets off a good one. Peoples-Jones will return this one. Caught at his own 8 and cannot outrun anyone. Tackle at the 5. And 12 seconds left. Michigan with 95 yards to go.
Has to take a knee here. On the 4-yard line, absolute safety territory. Take a knee going to the second half.
Oh, that was an eventful final 63 seconds.
Dude, well, what are you doing, James Franklin? You don't call a timeout when you get tackled before the first down marker. You waste about 9 to 11 seconds, and then you decide to take a timeout when Michigan wants to make a play on the game. I don't know. It's not really going to affect the game that much. Nothing really came out of it, but still, it's one of those things where if it's 21-21 against Ohio State or 21-21 against Michigan State later, you can't make that play.
And Michigan has been bringing the house on punts.
Exactly.
And they didn't really do it there. If they just brought the house, that could have gone.
That's one of those situations with Michigan. You just bring all 11 guys. We saw Michigan State do it against Michigan in the fumble and snap.
And now I don't like the shotgun victory formation.
I hate this. We talked about this too.
Patterson takes it and then runs forward right to that line of scrimmage, kneels, and that'll end the half.
Penn State will not call timeout, and we're going to go right into halftime. I hate that too, man. Does that bug you? You run a shotgun snap, in your victory formation, in your kneeling formation, and if you drop that snap, it's a fumble turnover. It's huge. But nonetheless, regardless, Michigan goes into half, down 21-7. A little life, though. A little life from the Wolverines at the end of that first half.
That is encouraging. That is something they can hang their heads on in going into the second half. Michigan's defense gets 2 big stops. Now, that was not regular football right there. Those are both 2-minute drill drives. 2:55 Penn State started with, so not exactly what you'd expect. And Penn State could have had a touchdown. Clifford had a chance to run for the first down. Instead, he wisely passed on.
I thought the exact same thing. I mean, he had a chance to run for the ball, and he throws it deep, and nothing converts out of it. But
his man had to step. It looked like Dotson had to step on Thomas, whoever it was guarding him. We have not seen much Dax Hill at all. I'd like to see him get involved, but I mean, he had Dotson for the touchdown if he hits him in stride. It was going to be difficult, but even if you don't hit him in stride, it's going to be setting up a field goal at the very least.
Yeah,
and just overthrows him, sails it a bit too long. But so Michigan escapes that. Then they get stout, make 2 stops, force a 3-and-out with 40 seconds to go in the half. That wasn't a pure 3-and-out really, but the defense can, they did force 2 punts in a row though. They can 3 punts in a row, I believe. They can hang their heads high on that, come out, get a stop. If Michigan's offense scores a touchdown on the ensuing drive,
back in it.
Completely back in it. There's a lot of time to play in this one. 30 minutes of football. Michigan's not out. They're down, but they're not out.
No, and there's a lot of stories you can talk about when you look at this first half, whether it's Michigan coming out flat, not really executing their blocks, and they had a couple drop passes. Whether it's Michigan, they had 3 offside penalties. They had a man down the field penalty. Those are 4 huge plays. And then another thing you could talk about, and it's something that you never really always want to throw out there, but there are 3 plays that really went against Michigan officiating-wise. A lot of plays that went out there against Michigan. We had that Khalid Hudson, he gave up the touchdown over top, and it looked like he got pushed off. Penalty not called. 4th and 4, Tariq Black's running a 4 or 5 yard in. Would have been the first down, being held, not called. In the big play, the absolute big play, Nico Collins runs that 40-yard fade, sitting there on the 15-yard line, makes a great catch on the ball. Comes back, makes a play on it, catches the ball, and he's called for a pass interference. Next play, Michigan runs a play, nothing happens. The play after that, Michigan throws an interception. Penn State's in plus territory, scores a touchdown. That's a 14-point swing. That's a huge, huge, huge play for the Nittany Lions. Huge penalty called against the Wolverines. Wolverines going to score. They make it 14-7. They come back and score a touchdown as they did. It's 14-14. But instead they call that huge pass interference, and Michigan is looking at a 21-7 deficit coming here, leaving the first half, coming in the second half.
They were down 21-0. It's a bit of a broken record because I had to bring up this exact topic back in Madison for the game when Michigan fell down 21-0 and then quickly turned into 28 and 35-0. But Michigan holding a bit more stout in this one, only down 14 at the half, but Michigan once came back down from 28-7 in the third quarter against Minnesota back in 2003 when John Navarre engineered a comeback. Andy, that's probably just a bit too early for you to remember that we would have been like 5 when that happened.
No, I've heard it. Absolutely. I mean,
you remember that game?
I don't remember it, but I've heard of it. Absolutely. I mean, it's 28-7. Yeah.
Just a bit out of our memory, the memory of any student still at University of Michigan.
No, what are you talking about, man? I remember the national championship. I wasn't alive yet, but I remember it. Come on. I'm a Michigan man, born and breed, baby. Come on, I remember that. No, but that's 28-7, and different circumstances, kind of, because Michigan. This is the Michigan team we talked about a lot earlier, where Michigan's not really prone to make type comebacks. In usual situations, Michigan's passing game hasn't been very good. To be honest, though, the passing game has been a lot better this game. Most of their damage has come from the passing game, so maybe they can scratch off a little comeback here, but I don't know. It's going to be real tough for Michigan to come back.
It absolutely will be.
Ooh, Penn State Nittany Lions band coming out with Alan Silvestri's Avengers theme.
I knew that song. It's
just absolutely incredible.
Is this Game of Thrones or is this Avengers is what I was thinking down to. Then they do the Avengers A formation, and it becomes painfully obvious.
Austin Falco sitting at home right now. He's probably not. He can't see this. He can't hear this. He would die for this right now. Me and Austin at 5th inning, 6th inning, 7th inning stretch. Austin him and I always talked about them Avengers and the MCU. Cool thing here by the Nittany Lions band. Alan Silvestri, the absolute legend, great composer. And makes me smile a little bit after this 21-7 bleak performance in the first half of the Wolverines.
But showing signs of life. It was a third quarter comeback where down 28-7, Michigan quickly made it 28-21, but then Minnesota scored again, made it 35-21. The Michigan scored 17 unanswered points to not only win the game, but win in regulation to defeat Minnesota 38-35. That was in Minneapolis, a road game as well. The largest comeback in Big House history is that 19-0 deficit that Michigan erased back in 2008 in part of a 4-win season.
Right.
So
against the Notre Dame Fighting Irish,
no,
correct?
Badgers, Wisconsin.
Oh,
Badgers.
that's right. Yep.
So we'll see if Michigan can match that record for largest comeback in program history.
If they're going to do it, how are they going to do it, Nate or Daniel?
They can give us a couple more points. The offense has not been bad, but they have to one, get some turnovers. They have to have some kind of luck to come back. They need a little bit of lucky breaks with turnovers.
Sure.
And they have to start clicking on offense, and I think they can. It's not very difficult. It's pretty simple to put up points with this Michigan offense. It might not be the best offense, but if you throw to Donovan Peoples-Jones, throw to Tariq Black, throw to Nico Collins.
Totally, man, totally.
Where is speed and space? That was promised at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
That we saw some of it this game, actually.
Well,
there was
not only that, but get Charbonnet involved in the offense a little bit. We saw against, I know it's Middle Tennessee State, but and Middle Tennessee State on third downs, Zach Charbonnet against pressures was 8 of 8 out of the pass blocking at the running back position. He's a very, very, very good pass blocking running back. And if he's set in that formation, I don't know why you go away from him. He's a guy who's been running the ball really efficient all year for the Wolverines, and we haven't seen a lot. It's been a lot of Hassan Haskins. So very, very curious to see what this offense is going to do. And like you said, man, you have Nico Collins, Tariq Black, and Donovan Peoples-Jones, 3 guys who are studs. Nick Eubanks, a guy who's been playing very well today. Get those guys involved, throw the ball. I like these 4 wide, 5 wide sets, and just continue to poke holes in this Nittany Lions defense.
Absolutely. The offensive statistics aren't a whole world apart. This is a 21-7 game. That might be about fair given what we've seen. Passing, Michigan has 7 more passing yards. Rushing, it's not that bad either. Penn State has 88 rushing yards to Michigan 65, so total yardage, this is not a huge discrepancy. It's been the penalties and the turnover that's really separated these two teams.
Yeah.
Shea Patterson's inexcusable interception that was picked out of the air by Tariq Castro-Fields resulted in the most recent Penn State touchdown, making it 21-7.
You're not thinking Dylan McCaffrey at all, are you?
No, at this point, no. You got to roll with Patterson for the rest of this game at the very least.
And like I said a lot, Shea Patterson really hasn't been the problem. He's made a couple iffy calls in zone read, but that's a tough situation. He's never really ran it a lot before. I know we're 5 games in, but besides those couple zone read questionable calls, passing the ball, he's looked pretty darn good. I mean, off the top of my head, I can't think of a ball where it was really, really poorly thrown that he should have completed.
It was a bad decision on the interception.
The bad decision on the interception, absolutely. But when it comes to,
as you hear, hooked on a feeling.
Hooked on a Blue Swede, 1973, absolute awesome here.
I'm surprised you had the band name and the year down.
Yeah,
good job.
Absolutely.
Is this still a Marvel show? Because that was used heavily in Guardians of the Galaxy.
It was in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yep.
I don't know. Now they're doing a palm tree formation. I don't know if this is the Marvel show or what exactly the deal is.
I don't know. It's got to be. I mean, they brought out Alan Silvestri in the Avengers score, hooked down the field, like you said, in Guardians of the Galaxy. But
another Guardians of the Galaxy song. Do you like Pina Colada song? Is that the official name of the song? Escape.
Yeah, that's right. Escape. That's right.
Yeah, as Alex Green informs us, our music history buff. Escape, parentheses, the Pina Colada song. Do you like pina coladas and getting lost in the rain? I think it's right. Those are the words.
Welcome to WCBN's music coverage of Daniel Thompson.
Karaoke night here in State College.
We're going out to the tailgates. We're just going to sing the rest of this game. The second half, you can turn into that.
So I think the point right now is Guardians of the Galaxy music.
Something.
Yeah, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. That's also in Guardians of the Galaxy.
And remember the Titans, the absolute legendary movie on T.C. Williams. Actually, I watched that movie Thursday night. Absolute classic.
Yeah.
I can love it. Virginia, I think, AA? No, I think 4A football.
Will we remember the Wolverines' comeback for the ages if they come back in this one? As Michigan's still down 21-7, and they're not out of this. As we wrap up this halftime show coverage, do they have anything else for us? They just did a mountain formation for Ain't No Mountain High Enough.
I don't know.
It looks like they're still making another formation. What is this? Let's see. Any predictions?
I think it's falling into the PSU. Nope, maybe a score's coming out. I see a 2 and a 1.
This is a bit like an ink blot test. What do you see here?
I don't know.
Let's psychoanalyze you, Andy.
I see a couple arches on the left side, right side. This is great band analysis we're bringing you here. This is extra stuff.
This is great. It does make college football halftime shows sometimes painfully long. Oh, it's a Nittany Lion. It's a Nittany Lion. That's what it is. Do you see it?
Trying to listen to what it is. It is Nittany Lion.
Yeah. This might be the Penn State fight song. I'm not well versed on what that is. But it's the Penn State Nittany Lion they formed here at the end.
Yeah. That's boring. Come on, I want more adventure. Bring Star Wars out. Come on, the trailer's coming out Monday at halftime of Monday Night Football. Come on, play a little John Williams here. But
well, I'm guessing this is the end as we're about to wrap up here. 10 minutes to go till the second half. We'll give you a couple of quick score updates. Utah has defeated Arizona State 21-3 in that one. Utah establishes itself as one of the 2 remaining competitors in the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Them and Oregon are the only ones with hopes. And Utah probably locked up the South with that. USC beat them earlier in the year. They're in the competition. But the big one from Austin, Kansas is tied in the third quarter, 24-24 apiece.
Moving the ball too at the KU 43-yard line.
So we'll see if maybe that one is a shocking update we can deliver to you later in. But I've been Daniel Thompson alongside Andy Laidlaw. Any parting thoughts from us?
Just a few quick things. I mean, they just gotta, like I said, they gotta continue to pound the ball through the air. You got Nico, DPJ, and Tariq Black, 3 guys who are very capable of making plays. But they keep coming out here in the second half. 2 things that really killed them in the first half. Gotta be more efficient. No more penalties. No more bad mistakes. No more stupid mistakes. And then they can't give up 2 big plays. Those 3 big plays really killed them. They show up those mistakes. Don't give up big plays. Don't commit penalties. Michigan get right back in this football game.
Total yardage is close. It's 203 to 187. 16 yards favoring Penn State. The turnover killed it. It could be 14-7 right now if not for the turnover. Maybe Michigan scores on that drive if not for it. But Michigan's been phenomenal on third down. That's made up for some of the penalties and turnovers they've committed. Still down by 14. We'll see if Michigan's defense can show up here in a big road game against a top 10 team. Yep. It's been a long time since we've seen that.
And this is the second half that's going to define the rest of this Michigan football season. Big half for the Wolverines.
Hello, now to the second half of action. I'm Alex Strain, joined by Andrew Miller for this second half between Michigan and Penn State. Our score at halftime: Michigan 21, Penn State 21, Michigan 7. An eventful first half saw Penn State go up 21-0. Looked like the game might be getting out of hand. Michigan, though, able to get a late touchdown and keep things interesting as we go into the second half. What did you see in that first half?
What I saw was a lot of backyard football play by Michigan. Not a lot of smart football when you're walking the offensive side. You saw like a couple plays where there were 2 guys who were like, the read was clearly 1 or 2. You read these 2 guys, if they're open, throw it to them. That's not how you're going to play against the Nittany Lions. The speed and space offense is supposed to be predicated on getting people open, and no one's really getting open because half the field is just basically clear-out routes. This needs to be a little bit more creative in where those clear-out routes go, and especially when you're looking at Shea Patterson, who has trouble sometimes getting the ball there quickly. There needs to be a more open receiver because if Shea's going to throw it to a small target, he's not going to make it that often.
Yeah. Well, Michigan with the 21-7 hole, and Penn State will get the ball to start the second half, and it really feels like this first possession for Penn State is going to be massive. If they can get a touchdown, feels like the game might be out of reach. If Michigan can force a punt early on and get the ball back, potentially go down and score, then things get very interesting. So I think the early part of this half will really set the tone. You look at the drive chart for Penn State, and they had a punt, touchdown, touchdown, punt, touchdown, punt, punt. So 3 of their last 4 drives, they have punted, and not just where they were punts, they were 3 and outs. So Michigan's defense started to lock down a little bit there, and even that touchdown they gave up was only a 49-yard touchdown drive because of poor field position. We saw a little bit of all over the place from Shea Patterson, made some really nice throws, also missed some mind-boggling decision on a slip screen, throwing it to a defensive player in the backfield. He overall is still likely to be the guy. We thought we might see Dylan McCaffrey. Doesn't seem like it. Patterson in the first half, 12 of 22, 122 yards, no touchdowns, and a pick. Charbonnet, 6 carries for 30 yards, 1 touchdown. And we should mention there were some interesting penalties in that first half. There was really a huge offensive pass interference call on Nico Collins down the field. That would have given Michigan the ball in the red zone. Instead, they end up punting on that drive, or did they throw the pick right after that? I'm trying to remember the sequence. But Penn State scored on the next possession, and that really flipped things.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Michigan was in a situation where they just ended up coming up short every single time. There was the 4th and 1 on the first drive where they elected to punt. Many thought it was a good time to just go for it and try to get some points. Turns out it didn't work out, and then they tried to go for a field. They did the same thing again. They went for it later in the game. They think the score was at that point was 14-0. They elected to go for it. They did not make it. Then later on, they took I believe a 58-yard field goal with Jake Moody, who is not known for his leg.
I mean, he's got a good leg as a kickoff guy, but he has not been the 50-yard specialist.
No,
Nordin has.
that has been Nordin. So that was an odd choice to me. It just seems a little bit like the Michigan offense does not know what it's going to do yet. And honestly, and it really, Michigan needs a spark, because you were talking about earlier. Michigan stops the Penn State offense and gets a touchdown. They can make this game interesting. Well, that's two things that Michigan really hasn't been able to do. Those big plays have silenced a lot of the Michigan defense. Those big plays can be deadly. They can't recover from them. Not a lot of teams can, obviously. But then you got the Michigan offense, which has been static as it feels. It feels like you're not going to be getting more than 5 yards, and maybe there will be a receiver who's open 15 yards down the field that Shea gets on a scrambler. But it just feels like on those swing passes, Shea's ball will get there in 5 seconds, and it feels like there's so much time for the defense to adjust to like a screen pass. There needs to be an adjustment made. I don't know if it's personally the quarterback that needs to change, the offensive the aggressive level needs to change, but something has to happen now.
Well, in clarification, the interception came 2 plays after the Nico Collins pass interference situation. So looking at the overall game summary, at least in the scoring, Penn State scored at 5:59 remaining in the first quarter on a 17-yard pass from Sean Clifford to Pat Fryermuth. There was question about a potential push-off on Fryermuth, guarded by Kalik Hudson in the end zone on a ball that was well thrown from Clifford. Then you have another touchdown for Penn State at 14:56 in the second quarter. That, funny enough, was really the third piece of action in the second quarter, even though it was the first play, because it was going to be 2nd and goal Penn State from the 6. Michigan committed 2 offsides before a play had been run in the quarter. That moved Penn State to the 1-yard line, and Clifford ran it in himself on the first play of the quarter. And then shortly after the Patterson interception, 25-yard touchdown strike to KJ Hamler. Brad Hawkins, the safety in one-on-one coverage, not close to him in an accurate throw for the touchdown, but Michigan was able to get a score there in the late stages of the second half. Charbonnet, a 12-yard touchdown rush for Michigan to make it 21-7 at that point. Michigan forced a punt, got into Penn State territory, could not string things together, and rather than going for it on a 4th and 5 from the 40-yard line or punting, Michigan attempted that puzzling 58-yard field goal by Jake Moody. It was an accurate kick, but it was just 5 yards short, landing in the back of the end zone. And so then Penn State took over with great field position and 3 timeouts. We thought they were going to string a drive together. An odd decision not to use a timeout by James Franklin that ran the clock down close to 30 seconds. And then they got stuffed about 1 yard short of the sticks and decided to punt, pin Michigan deep, and the Wolverines took a knee. Overall, Clifford in that first half, 9 of 16, 115, and 2 touchdowns, pretty good. Not as good as he has been for Penn State, but a pretty good showing. Ricky Slade, really one of the big plays of the game, a 44-yard run that set up the second Penn State touchdown. It was a gaping hole up the middle he was able to hit. Clifford, 7 carries, 22 yards. His scrambling hasn't been super effective, did get that touchdown. Interestingly, we have seen no rushes from Noah Kane thus far. Kane, the leading rusher for this Penn State team, entering the contest, 5-star freshman. Haven't seen much from him so far.
Has he been on the game as a decoy at all? I haven't really.
I think I have seen him. Yes, there was an attempted pass. Right, he has 1 reception. 1 reception for 3 yards, but no carries.
That might be interesting. Maybe this is, that seems to me as though it's a scheme thing. They know where Michigan's strength lies, up in the center. Maybe they're trying to get the speed guys out there today.
Yeah. So the players are now back onto the field. We have under a minute remaining in the halftime again. Michigan will kick off to Penn State to begin this second half. And again, the defensive possession here for the Nittany Lions is going to be or offensive possession for the Nittany Lions, defensive for the Wolverines, going to be very, very interesting. A absolutely beautiful crowd here at Beaver Stadium. Great tailgating scene. We were walking around before the game. A lot of white in this stadium, and our partner Daniel Thompson described the the crowd here as when you get corn in your mashed potatoes on Thanksgiving dinner, in a reference to the smattering of yellow in the white crowd.
That is brilliant by Daniel Thompson.
I wasn't as big of a fan of it as you were, but I had to bring it up here.
The literary genius that is Daniel Thompson sometimes never ceases to amaze me. And you were right, that tailgate scene.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about Penn State. Penn State knows how to have a good time out there at the tailgate. You would see miles and miles and hills of just RVs packed one after another. Just everyone having a good time. All the students were along with all the fans. It was just beautiful in my opinion. I was having a great time just looking at it.
They have whiteout hot chocolate up in the upper level. Daniel brought back, it looks like bad milk. I would not drink that. Anyway, getting ready to get this going. Jake Moody will do the kickoff, and again, just an electric atmosphere. You've got the pom-poms all over. Opening up the window here in the booth to get a little bit better crowd noise. Feel the air come in. It gets a little hot in this booth.
Yes, there was a radiator, I think, right under us. So
yeah, I can feel it right now.
Yeah, I wonder if the guys before were feeling the same thing.
So the kickoff is away, going to be caught at the goal line by KJ Hamler, and he will run it out past the 20, the 25, 30, 35, 40. There is a flag down. He's off to the races. Hamler 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. But there are 2 flags, and I think they are for separate penalties. A late flag came in from the lines judge on the far side of the field after one had already been thrown by the lines judge on the other side. And a much closer reaction to the play. Gotta think this one's coming back. Pretty rare to see a flag go against a kicking team in this kind of situation.
Well, it looked like one of the blockers on the returning team was very much holding Jake Moody. Jake Moody looked like it even got to his face. I couldn't see it until we see the replay, but it looked pretty clear that that's coming back.
Referees are meeting. Rod Snodgrass, the head official, will give us the signal in a second. It's 5-6-man conversation right now. Snodgrass, the head referee. Rudy Studd, the lines judge on the far side, would have been the one to throw the flag on the other side.
That seems like the first penalty seems very clear that it's holding.
Yeah, they say holding for the first one. Penalty decline. Holding, so 2 different holdings. That one will be accepted. So we'll see where they spot the ball. It could be anywhere given, we don't know exactly where the holds were. And now unsportsmanlike conduct, sideline interference on Michigan. So it sounds like to me it's going to be a hold that moves them back, and then after the hold is assessed, it will be 15 yards forward off of the sideline interference. And we saw a sideline warning issued in the first half after Jim Harbaugh went wild after the referees. I did not see the interference on that play, but that puts the ball. They're going to place it on the 45, and we talked about in the first half the importance of field position. Penn State's had great field position all night long, so that places the ball on their own 45. They'd only need to go 55 yards for a touchdown, and it really gives no help to the Michigan defense in this situation.
No, but the Michigan defense has prided itself on not laying up big plays until the night. They just got to keep it going.
So Clifford starts in the shotgun, and he will give it off down and around the right side, and there is running room. A hard hit delivered there by Brad Hawkins, but falling forward for about a 15-yard pickup. There is Noah Kane. That's his first carry. We talked about him in the halftime. No carries yet. He picks up 15, a good run outside the tackles for Penn State, burning around that edge. And that puts the ball down on the 43. They'll give him 13 officially. Clifford in the shotgun yet again. They go almost 100% shotgun, does Penn State. He's going to fire down the sideline. Got a man not really open, and that throw way too far out. The crowd wants a flag. I think the rule will be uncatchable here, perhaps. Didn't seem like a ton of contact anyway.
You know, anytime receivers close to the cornerback, they're going to want a flag. It didn't look like that was catchable to me, and there didn't look like there'd be that much contact disrupting the pass. Looked pretty clean to me. Moving forward, that was a safety ending up Metellus covering the receiver.
Covering Jahan
That's
Dotson
not
there.
what you want to see from Michigan defense. They've played a little too much single high today for my liking.
Clifford starts out there with the running back to his left, 2 wide receivers left side and 2 receivers to the right, including the tight end Fryermuth. He'll hand it off up the middle, and that goes for maybe 2 yards, but good job by the Michigan interior defensive line, Dwumfor and Kemp, to lock down on Noah Kane there, get good push, and now a 3rd and 8 from the Michigan 40.
Well, it seems odd to me that it seems though the 2 times that Michigan will run two safety sets, it always ends up seeming to be a run play. Michigan, I think, needs to get a little bit more used to having 2 safety sets. They've been playing a lot of single high and lets up for a lot of big plays if there's a block that gets on.
3rd and 8. Clifford looks to the sideline. He's got Kane on the right side. Now flips him over to the left. 3 wide receivers left, 1 on the right. 3rd down and 8 from the Michigan 40. Clifford is going to pitch it out to Kane, and out right there is Cam McGrone, and he shuts him down.
Great read by.
Stop for a loss of 3 or 4, and that will likely bring up a Penn State punt.
That was a great read right there. Saw the guy, attacked, realized that the pitch and catch that was off the motion. Didn't see anyone moving on. Didn't see any wide receivers really selling it off the block.
Yeah.
Made it very clear that it was a 1 or 2. Moved right to where he was going. Great read.
And so now punt coming out from Blake Gillikin. They've got Peoples-Jones back deep, standing on the 11-yard line. Gillikin standing at his own 42. Ball is placed down on the Michigan 43. Gillikin, more of a rugby style, he runs out and hits it. Michigan came at him several times. This one going to roll into Peoples-Jones' body, and he falls down at the 10. But that's a good idea to catch that punt, as it looked like it might be down inside the 5 if he had let it roll.
Personally, to me, it didn't look like it would take a good step because it wasn't going to go backwards.
Yeah, it was going to be interesting, but there were 4 Penn State guys around, and at the very least, you get it at the 10. That's not terrible. And what did we say? Michigan needed a punt to start this game, and they got it from their defense. So
now they need to score, though.
Yeah.
And that is something that has become a rarity. Shea Patterson is back out there.
Yeah.
Looking, hopefully he's ready and waiting for the dialogue, something creative that Josh Baz has.
And now the crowd getting loud right in front of us. Patterson got a running back to his left. That looks like Haskins. Corner blitz coming. Picked up well. He's got plenty of time to throw. Now Shea's going to scramble for it. He runs right up the middle at the 20, trying to cut outside, and he'll slide down at the Big Ten logo. Of course, they mark it where the slide starts. John Reed was the one watching him as he started his slide down at the 22. That'll be a pickup of about 12 yards and a Michigan first down, and that's good, big to get you out of the shadow of your goal line.
Yeah, for a first down blitz from Penn State, they had a lot of time. The pocket was there. There was an open crease, that no-brainer from Shea Patterson.
They brought Cam Brown off the edge, and it was a great blitz pickup. Look there, like the left tackle John Runyon Jr. Patterson in the shotgun, and he is going to just give it off up the middle, and really no rushing room at all in this game for Michigan, and nothing there, no gain as a mosh pit swallows him up. Micah Parsons, the first one there. Parsons, the leading tackler on the year for Penn State, entering this game, and he's been terrific tonight so far.
Yeah, they're running a lot of 22 personnel right now.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see. Not that many receivers out there. I think that's a good idea for the Michigan Wolverine to get some power up there for these blockers.
So 2nd and 10, Patterson in the shotgun. He's going to roll out to his right. Got plenty of protection, plenty of time. He's going to fire down the field looking for Tariq Black. That ball is well out of bounds, though, and it'll be incomplete, and now a big 3rd and long.
That was a throw that needed to be made 2 seconds earlier, as you can see. He was looking, hoping Tariq Black would get more open. And what ended up happening, the ball that Shea was able to throw, the window closed. He got more open.
Yeah.
He was only open more towards the sideline, which is exactly what the cornerback was looking to do.
Either needed to be earlier or a lot deeper. And
he also had some running room.
Not the greatest, yeah. 3rd down and 10, and that's the consequence of not scrambling at all. And nothing on your first down run is now you're well behind the sticks. Michigan in this 3rd down situation. Haskins to the left. 4 receivers out there. Penn State brings some pressure. Patterson's got time. He's going to fire down the field. Got a man open, diving, and it's incomplete, but a flag comes in, and that looks like an obvious either hold or pass interference on Penn State, and the official, the back judge there, making the call.
It may have been an offensive pass interference. Ronnie Bell looked like he may have pushed.
They're going to say defense pass interference. Number 38, Lamont Wade, a safety. And the Penn State crowd, not a big fan of that, but I think Michigan, obviously, with some of the ways the calls went in the first half, they're not going to complain about getting even here
No,
Not sure I saw that call, but again, there were some interesting ones in the first half too, so it goes both ways tonight.
No, not at all. But to me, that looked more like an incidental contact. I wouldn't have really called it throw a flag, but there were so many bodies, it's hard not to throw a flag in that instance.
Michigan will take it. It puts the ball down on the 37. Shea comes out in the shotgun. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Haskins in pass protecting mode, and they'll give it to him right up the middle, and met immediately there at the line of scrimmage. A good hard tackle. Looked like a linebacker, Jan Johnson, plugged the hole, and that's been an issue for Michigan all year, is the inability to properly play, and you see Jan Johnson just come crashing up as Yetur Gross-Matos did a good job caving the ends in.
Yeah, that's something that has gone a little bit unnoticed. Yetur Gross-Matos' ability just to end the play, make it hard for Michigan to block.
2nd and 10, that's the second straight first down play where Michigan's got nothing on the ground. Patterson is going to give it off. This one better for Haskins, though. He goes forward for about 4 yards, up past the 40 to the 41-yard line, so it'll set up 3rd and medium. Micah Parsons on the tackle. That's now his 10th tackle of the game for a former top 10 player in the country, 5-star recruit out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, to the Nittany Lions. He's more of a defensive end playing linebacker, a really athletic guy, not great in coverage, but he's been terrific on the ground here tonight. A tackling machine. 3rd and 6 from the Michigan 41. Wolverines trying to get to the 47. Patterson, shotgun. They've got Charbonnet now on the field to his right, taking Haskins off. 2 wide receivers right, 2 wide receivers left. We'll see if Penn State brings any pressure. They've only got 4 down linemen, showing a potential corner blitz, and they do bring it. Picked up well by Charbonnet. Shea's got time. Now he's going to try to scramble, and he will be brought down at the 34-yard line. That corner blitz eventually did get home. It was Garrett Taylor, the safety, coming up. Took him a little while to get there, but eventually, after wiggling past Charbonnet, Patterson couldn't get the ball out, and it's a sack to end the drive.
You know, you want to see Shea Patterson make a quicker throw on a 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6 is oftentimes the most scariest position for any offensive coordinator to call, but you need to get that ball out quicker. Shea, I think, was either looking for a bomb. There didn't seem to be that many guys open, so he probably should have scrambled a little earlier. But still, you got to make a decision quicker than that, not hope something comes to yourself.
Willehart out to punt, and he boots this one away. Another high line drive. KJ Hamler back deep. He's going to catch it at around the 15, makes a couple moves, and he's out just past the 20 to maybe the 22, 23. It looked like on that play that Patterson, he saw the blitz come, you'd have to think, because Charbonnet picked it up, and Patterson's initial move was to scramble into the blitz. And then he turned around, and by that time it was too late.
Well, not only that, he seemed like he was looking to run at the beginning, and then thought since there was a blitz there would be someone open. So he took a half stack back, and then when no one was open on the blitz, good coverage by Penn State, he decided he would have to run. But when his first initial run, to his left, that's where the blitz was coming in, and he had no time to go out to the right, where there was already Penn State running, where already Penn State linemen looking to greet him over there.
So now we have a commercial timeout with 9:22 to go in the 3rd quarter. Still 21-7, Penn State on top.
This is not a situation you want to be in the Michigan Wolverines. You started out, you got the punt you wanted. You got some lucky breaks with pass interference calls. You got some lucky breaks with some scrambling action. But Michigan still has been allergic to throwing the ball. They've made their living off today, getting balls off a scramble to the right. I think it was a scramble to the left off to Nico Collins. One throw that should have been caught I believe it was Tariq Black, and that was caught that was called the offensive pass interference, even though that ball was completely underthrown and he should have been gone for a touchdown. There's just been a lot of wobblers out there today in Michigan. If they're trying to get back in this game, it has to be through the air. And right now they need to get the ball out there faster, get the ball out there quicker, and make sure that ball gets to the receiver. But too many times these cornerbacks are closing in on wide open receivers because the ball's still up there for 4 seconds.
Well, now both teams huddling up. Yardage now 215 to 196 in favor of Penn State. But again, it's a game that feels like it should be more even in the score column. But Penn State has finished their drives, and Michigan has not. They've had drives stall in Penn State territory on 3 occasions.
Well, that is simply because the 2 biggest factors in winning a football game are 1, turnovers.
Yeah.
2, plays over 20-plus yards.
Yep.
Big plays are what kill defenses. You can game plan all you want. You can say give them a 5-yard drive. They can only get so many of those. But when someone gets an 80-yard drive, that changes the game. It's basically a whole new drive at that point if someone gets a 30-yard play, because then you're setting up a new drive and a good field position. That's been Michigan's problem. They've let the big play come out too many times, and that's what's burned them. The interception, not even completely Shea's fault. He was pretty covered over there. The receivers were all covered. He just made a throw when he should have thrown it away. But at the end of the day, Michigan needs to get cleaner on the offensive side of the ball, and especially need to get taking less risks on the defensive side. Maybe they should be running some more corner bricks, but got to get another safety out there. Josh Metellus being the single high all the time is going to leave a lot of room for a big play. Penn State has shown a good ability to pull their guards out, and Michigan has not been able to respond.
You also think that Michigan probably needs to force a turnover at some point, change the momentum of this game, and help themselves out in the field position column. Penn State's been firmly winning the field position battle tonight. Penn State 21, Michigan 7, 9:22 remaining in the third quarter. Clifford comes out in the shotgun, ball placed down on the 22. He's got a running back to his right, and he will give it to him, and not much there. Be brought down at around the 24. Devin Ford is brought down immediately. Looked like Dwumfor was in on that one. McGrone came up well. Yeah, McGrone's the first one there on replay.
Yeah. Blitzing Don Brown yet again, taking all those guys in, trying to bet on it's a first down rush, but here's an empty.
Yeah, Michigan looks really disorganized on this defensive play, but Clifford decided to audible the play at the line and bailed out Michigan as they had some guys running around. Empty backfield besides Clifford. Here comes the rush. He's going to get hit. He's going to escape, roll around at the 5, going to fire, and well, incomplete, but it really felt like McGrone should have had that sack. Wrapping him up viciously, but I think almost too sloppy on that blitz attempt. I mean, he came in unblocked, and you got to bring him down there.
Yeah,
you got to bring him down.
That's just he jumped too early, tried to get there too quick.
Yeah.
He was off balance as he tackled him. It's not that hard for the quarterback to just do a quick spin move and get away. That should have been a huge loss. That should have been a huge loss for Penn State and a good break for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, Clifford threw that one away, so now it's 3rd and 8, and a big opportunity for Michigan to force another 3 and out and get off the field, give their offense decent field position as Penn State's only on their own 24-yard line, but need to make a stop here. They've got, looks like Hamler in the slot with a deep safety, and Clifford looks that way. Got plenty of time to throw. Hamler's open down the field. Let's see if he can hit him, and it's tipped and incomplete. Looked like the ball was underthrown. Allowed 2 DBs to get there. Converging on the play, it appeared that Brad Hawkins and Lavert Hill converging there, and I pointed out before the play, Hamler was open in the slot, and he burned down the field. Wow, Josh Uche was the one down there. Hill was tracking from behind, but Uche, the defensive end, was running in coverage down the field. Uche was the one sprinting from behind, and then Hawkins came over. Hawkins is the one that made the play. That's a good play. Bailed out by the underthrow from Clifford.
Bailed out by the underthrow from Clifford, but on that formation, you saw 2 safeties basically get on the receivers.
Yeah.
They were blitzing.
Here's the punt from Gillikin. It's going to back Peoples-Jones up. What a boot. Going to be caught at the 15. Peoples-Jones going to try to cut outside, and he'll be brought down at the 10-yard line. Absolutely brilliant punt coverage there. Gillikin booms the punt, and Penn State continues to annihilate Michigan in the field position battle tonight. Tremendous special teams from Penn State, and you almost felt like Peoples-Jones might have should have just let that one roll with how much leg was under that one.
You feel like it, but at the end of the day, you need a big play here.
Yeah.
You need a break. You don't need just to start a drive. Michigan has shown not the best aptitude of getting anything on the offensive end. At least let your playmaker make a play. On the previous defensive drive, yeah, they got to stop, but that seems to be all Penn State's problem. Penn State just made a lot of bad decisions. Michigan's defense oftentimes lined up in odd formations. There were 2 safeties, but those 2 safeties were running up against open receivers who had no one covering them at the box. If those receivers were thrown too early on stick routes, that would have been easy 10-yard gain. Sometimes it is true what they say. You live by the blitz. You die by the blitz. And if you don't get there on an empty backfield really quick, which Michigan was lucky enough to do, you're risking big plays when you're already down 14 points.
And we should point out as we have another commercial timeout with 8:22 to go as Michigan gets the ball back, just how incredible of a punt that just was from Blake Gillikin. Let me see exactly what the yardage was. Gillikin punts 60 yards to the Michigan 16. It felt even more than that. Yeah, Penn State, it was from the 24, but where Gillikin caught it at around the 14, 15-yard line, and how far that traveled in the air. I mean, that was almost 70 yards in the air from when the punt left Gillikin's foot. An absolute bomb. And again, you think about if that punt is 20 yards shorter, Michigan's got good field position. I mean, the difference between the 30 and the 10 is gigantic.
Especially for an offense like Michigan, which we said time and time again has been anemic. Michigan needs to prove themselves on this drive. Maybe not they can't afford to have a long drive right now. Maybe, you know what? Honestly, they may be in for a long drive. Maybe they have to establish themselves. They weren't able to in the first half, unfortunately. They got to make up for lost time, but they got to do it quick. And Michigan needs to be perfect. They've given up all their time to make some mistakes. There needs to be some sort of life jammed into this offense.
So Michigan will have the ball on their own 10. And, I mean, again, to get back in this game, Michigan's going to need to string together a long, consistent drive. And you feel like it has to start with the running game. Right now they're getting nothing on first down, and that is hard with a passing game that isn't as fluid as Michigan fans would like it to be.
To be fair, that is credit to the Penn State defense that has been just destroying a very injured Michigan offensive line. Yeah. Michigan offensive line has actually been pretty good in pass coverage today.
It has been.
But they're not the maulers they want to be.
I mean, Penn State came in with 27 sacks on the season. Michigan's done a great job giving Patterson time to throw, but there's just have not been the holes in the run game. Maybe a long run from Patterson as a keeper could set something up, but right now it's just not happening. Shea sets up in the shotgun. He's got Ben Mason to his left, going to throw a screen, try to just get some easy yardage back. Caught in the flat, looks like Ronnie Bell surges out past the 20-yard line. That's an easy chunk play, about 13 yards as he goes out of bounds.
I've seen the quads on the right only like a couple times in the Michigan offense.
Yep.
Every single time I think it has been a screen. That's something the Penn State's got to read better. Michigan should probably throw. Also, screens are important for a guy on a first down. You need to establish a rhythm.
Good blocks from Tariq Black and Nico Collins down the field there, allowing Bell to weave between them and then get out of bounds at the 22. They give him 12 yards on the play. 1st and 10 Michigan. Again, doing well to get out of the shadow of their goal line. This is a design Patterson keeper. He runs forward for about 4 yards and down to the 26. Still, though, that's better than a 0-yard rush into the middle.
Yeah, and what I liked was the plays on the same quad play, except it was on the left, and even the wide receiver was setting up to go for the same screen pass, which Michigan has had an affinity for since the beginning of the season. But yet there was a keeper, hopefully, and it got the linebacker thinking a little bit. Shea only got 4 yards, but those are 4 yards that are not there without the fake.
Is that Tariq Castro Fields down on the field? Oh, his helmet came off? Yeah. He has to come off the field. 2nd down and 6 at the 26-yard line. Michigan needs the 32, but again, you get a more manageable 2nd and 3rd down situation here. Patterson sets up in the gun. To his left is Haskins, 3 wide receivers on the other side. Eubanks, the tight end to the right. They'll throw another screen, and looks like good blocking again for Ronnie Bell. He's got the first down and more at the 35-40 and out past the 40-yard line. Michigan now stretching the field with these screens to Ronnie Bell.
This is what the speed and spade of this offense is supposed to be. Getting the ball there. Look at those blockers. Before in the first half, when Michigan had screen pass, you would often see that the Penn State defense had already read it.
Patterson ready to take the snap. Michigan moving with a little bit of tempo here. Plenty of time to throw. Fires down the field. That one's short and uncatchable. Nico Collins had it drop at his feet, and some of those throws down the field just haven't been there for Patterson tonight.
No, Patterson has made a lot of his living tonight based off the scramble plays that are open for a receiver coming back. But in terms of like reading a defense and throwing good out routes, that's not something he's been able to do today. And that's the hallmark of any good quarterback, is how well you can throw the 15-yard out pass.
So here we go, 2nd down and 10 from the 43-yard line. 3 wide receivers right, Eubanks the tight end left. We'll see if they try and establish the run and get some yardage back. Blitz shown. Patterson throws it out in the flat again. Caught this time, looks like by Peoples-Jones, and he's going down the sideline, still in bounds. Or no, they say he went out at around the 49. That's about a solid 6-yard pickup, but it'll set up 3rd and 4 at the 49-yard line. Still on Michigan's side of the field, barely, but that's a good job by Patterson to get that ball out as we saw a blitz coming from the right side of the formation.
Yeah, that is the 4th bubble screen, I believe, called on this drive of the 5 passes.
And they've been working, so
yeah, for
Michigan
once
sticking with them, and they didn't have a lot of success on those bubble screens in the first half. Now they're starting to work, stretch the field, but this is a huge 3rd down. Can Michigan pick this up? And now Patterson is just screaming at the sideline. 10 on the play clock. They got to either use a timeout or get this play off. You don't want to have to spend a timeout. Down 14 points. Patterson 5 on the play clock. 3 seconds. 2 gets play off, and he does. And this one goes right up the middle. No gain. Out to the 50-yard line, and now a huge 4th down and 3 situation. And that's just bad offense there for Michigan. Not knowing the play and then running an ineffective draw up the middle, and out comes the punt team. Inexcusable coaching.
Inexcusable when you're watching that. Michigan should have had to play ready for a third and short in the beginning of the play. Know what they're running. A draw play is honestly what the Penn State defense is looking for. They've been able to stop the run. They'll let you take those 5-yard gains at this point. They'll let you get the next first down because they know they can stop. They know they've been able to stop you. Getting that draw is just inexcusable for the Michigan offense at a 3rd and 4.
And that is a low snap to Will Hart. He comes out and boots it. Hamler comes up for a shallow fair catch. He'll grab it at the 15. Penn State takes the ball, but again, it just feels like with 5:42 to go in this third quarter, Michigan's had some chances. They've gotten 2 stops on defense to start this third quarter and just have not been able to do anything. And I think, you consider the scope of this game right now in terms of the way this team has come out and an offensive coaching staff with combined salaries of close to $10 million. They might as well donate them to charity tonight because they have not been earned. This has not been a well-prepared team. They have not executed well. They have not been prepared well. The play calls have been bad. I think the players have played far better than the way the team was prepared for this game.
No, the players have been playing great, but the problem is Michigan seems to be very scared to make any kind of risk.
Yeah.
The bubble screens are very emblematic of that. You don't run a bubble screen if you're worried, if you know you can make a throw down the field or you believe you can. They've been trying to play it safe. Hope that Penn State will make a mistake, and that's worked a couple of times. As you know, Penn State should be expecting throws on the field when they're up 14 at half, but yet, so that's why the bubble screens are working. Not that many people are looking to cover them, but still, the farther you go down the game, Michigan seems to just be really scared to make a real statement out there. And the one time they had, it didn't work out for them. They probably should have had the one earlier. Michigan needs to be better on the field.
And again, you think about that play. People will question the play call, but, let's be real. The offense was out there, and Patterson had no idea what the play was until 10 on the play clock. You can't use a timeout when you're down 2 scores. You got to save them. So the offense is running up there and just, I don't even know if that was the play call. They might have just handed that off up the middle. It was very apparent that the offense had no idea what was going on. And we've seen this where, when the offense is in rhythm, it functions well. But, boy, if they get off rhythm for even a second, things just come unspiraled.
And if you notice a little bit, the offense has been trying to take the ball out of Shea Patterson's hands a little bit.
Absolutely, yep.
That's what the screen passes are for, making sure that they can just get a rhythm and make Ronnie Bell the playmaker and DPJ the playmaker. When it comes to Shea Patterson to throw the ball 15 down, it's not been effective. It's just not. And it's not all Shea Patterson's fault. These play designs have been not that great.
Nope.
You're getting a guy in a quick out route, but there's no clear out routes for him. There's no mesh to confuse them. It's just it's basic backyard football. Hoping one of your 5 equally amazingly talented receivers are going to get open. But if they're not, which they haven't been, you're not going to do anything.
Well, this scores around the country. The game we've been watching is the Kansas-Texas game. Kansas was just about to kick an extra point to tie the game at 31. I believe it was blocked and run back for 2 by Texas. They lead 33-30 with 10:06 to go in the fourth quarter in Austin. A very interesting game down there. Les Miles has the Jayhawks competitive now, but still not really a bowl contender. Illinois was talked about a lot in the first half. They pulling the big upset of Wisconsin this afternoon. A big day for retread coaches. Lovie Smith notching the signature win of his era in Champaign. Out of the timeout, Penn State's offense on the field. Ball placed down on the 16, 1st and 10 Penn State. Again, this has been a field position battle here in the third quarter, and it's really morphed into the defensive affair that we were kind of expecting to see. And Clifford drops back, starts to feel some pressure coming. He's going to get hit and going to be dropped by McGrone just as he crosses the line of scrimmage right around the 16, 17-yard line.
What you like to see there is the initial 4 rushers, the ones getting the penetration.
Yeah.
There wasn't a blitz on that play. Just the initial 4 rushers were there. They switched from a single high to a 2 high at the last second, disguising their coverage. You'd love to see that from a Michigan defense.
So Clifford out to snap this one in the shotgun yet again with running back to his left. They've got Fryermuth offset from the formation on the right side, and Hamler in the slot, 2 outside receivers. Clifford will give it off right side, a little bit of running room, but not much. Dropped at the 19. That'll set up 3rd down and 7. And, they're just running into a brick wall right now. That looked like Ricky Slade picking up 2, and 3rd and 7. Another opportunity for the Michigan defense to get a 3 and out.
Good reaction by the Michigan defense. Now hopefully they can get that 3 and out. Now, honestly, that will really hurt the momentum of the Penn State Nittany Lions.
Yep. 3rd and 7, and again, you can play the field position battle, but with the way Gillikin's been punting, he's been huge in flipping fields if Penn State can't get this first down. 3rd and 7 from the 19-yard line. Michigan showing blitz. They relent. Clifford's got time to throw actually all day, and he's got a man wide open, Freiermuth, and he missed him. 5 yards wide of where it needed to be, and instead it'll be another Penn State 3 and out. Nothing going for the offense for the Nittany Lions, and Michigan is being gifted as many opportunities as you could ask for to try and come back and make this game competitive, and we'll see if the offense can do it. And again, the Gillikin factor is huge right now as the punter comes out standing on his own 5-yard line. Peoples-Jones stands at his own 32. Michigan comes after it yet again. This one is not nearly as good. That'll bounce. Oh, but it takes a nice bounce out of bounds around, we'll see where the lines judge spots it, 35-yard line.
Watching that 3rd down play, you saw that tight end get open. That's zone coverage for you. If there's a seam to be had, they'll find it if the cornerback does not make the proper adjustment. He didn't. I believe that was Daxton Hill on the play who was not making the proper adjustment on the play. He was open. Michigan is lucky to get out that with the 3 and out. That's just bad defense. Hopefully Michigan can get a better rhythm in this offense and score some points.
This is Michigan's best field position of the night at their own 35, finally out of the shadow of their goal line in starting a drive. Patterson in the shotgun, running back to his left. That looks like Charbonnet, and he will give it to him. Charbonnet goes up the middle. He's got some running room out past the 40, 45, and he'll be tackled right around the 49-yard line. That's a 14-yard pickup and a Michigan first down, and finally they're able to get that running game going with the running back surging between the A-gap up the middle.
You love to see it. Setting up the run is the most important thing in football.
Yeah.
Opens up the whole playbook. That's why they've been running bubble screens, because the running game has not been able to open up the playbook for them.
Michigan working tempo again. They're up to the line, ready to snap it at 25 on the play clock. Patterson will give it off to Charbonnet again. He goes around a couple tacklers, and that's a nice hard run to pick up maybe 3 yards.
Is it crazy to hear? I love the kinesthetics on Zach Charbonnet. I think this guy bounces off defenders like he's amazing. He reminds me of like a Kareem Hunt back in the day when he was just able to bounce off defenders.
Yeah, Charbonnet's been real good this season. His numbers are not as good as they should be because the blocking just hasn't been there for him this year so far. We tick under 3.5 to go in the 3rd quarter. Michigan 2nd and 7 from the 48-yard line. Patterson in the gun. Pressure starts to come. Got a man wide open, complete. Looks like Eubanks past the 40 down to the 36-yard line. Is a couple guys in coverage over the middle for Penn State. Look like their linebackers, Ellis Brooks and Jesse Lucchetta, dropping back. But easy money for Patterson to Eubanks. Michigan down to the Penn State 37, starting to creep towards scoring position.
Well, that's what the fear of the run game does. It let the linebackers scoot over a little bit so they had a stick play open to the left.
Patterson in the gun yet again, trips to the right, and a tight end off to the left, and he's going to try and keep it himself. He's going to fire it and throw it away.
That was clear.
Bad read.
That was clearly a designed run that Shea Patterson was able to elect to a pass. Lucky that we were able to get away with it because that Charbonnet had a lot of room on that play.
Yeah, he was. If it wasn't a read, it should have been.
I don't believe that was it. That looked like a play. That looked like a very obvious option route that was planned for Shea Patterson to throw it or to run with it. I don't believe that was anything because you could see that hole.
Michigan 2nd and 10 from the Penn State 37. Patterson, 4 wide receivers, and Charbonnet to his right. They've got Collins on the outside, and looked like Penn State is offside, so this should be a free play for Michigan. Fire complete to Peoples-Jones. That's going to be a push-off on Peoples-Jones, so the penalties will offset, and it'll be 2nd and 10 again. That'll be the second offensive pass interference against Michigan we've seen tonight, and the first legitimate one after a very odd call on Collins earlier, but that looked like a pretty clear push-off to me. The defender was 5 yards off of where Peoples-Jones was. Let's see what the referees, if they do officially call it. Let's take a look. Pass interference, offense. Offsides, yep, on Penn State. So those penalties will offset.
You know, an offsides call gives you a lot of freedom on offense, but it does not give you the freedom to push off the receiver, as they would say. You know, you're supposed to take risks on an offside penalty. That's the old Aaron Rodgers trick.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take a risk, take it downfield.
Yeah.
Don't give it up into a 5-yard. I know DPJ is great at making plays. Still, take the risk when you're out there.
So the play clock now running, 25 on the play clock, 2:33 to go in the third quarter. Michigan down 21-7, but they got 2nd and 10 from the Penn State 37, finally inching towards scoring position. Patterson drops back, 4-man rush, well picked up, fires complete, got it to Collins, real close to the sticks. Looks like he'll be a half yard short, right around the 28-yard line. Pickup of 9, it'll be 3rd down and 1, and this is where Michigan has struggled tonight, 3rd and short.
3rd and short, they've been able to make
they're
some
gonna hurry up
6
quickly
plays.
to it. Yeah, they're going to try to just get this play off right away. And they'll give it to Charbonnet, and he's got the first down and more, out towards the 20, pushing forward inside the 20, and the Michigan linemen get in on the fun, pushing him all the way down to the 18-yard line, and it is a red zone possession officially now for Michigan, ticking under 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, and there is a man down on the field for Penn State, way behind the play. Looks like an end or a tackle.
Is that may be a Tour Gross Matus.
No, he was up on the play.
He was up?
Yeah, it looked like, yeah, he came in late there on the push, so he would have been down the field. Not sure who that is. That could be Shakatoni, perhaps. The other end. I mean, it's got to be a lineman, you'd think.
All-time great name.
So we have a timeout with 1:53 to go in the third quarter. He gets up. It is
Shakatoni.
Looks like number 18. Yep, Shakatoni there.
I'll tell you what. On that play, you got a great block from Ruiz on a hurry-up offense. Was able to get right amount of leverage. And Michigan, that looked like it was about to be 3-down territory. You don't run a hurry-up offense on that if you're looking to throw the ball early. Michigan, I think, needs this. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is their first red zone drive since a touchdown by Charbonnet, if I'm not correct.
Yeah.
And that might be their only one, regardless of the whole game. That's Mason.
So here we go. 1st and 10, Michigan from the 18-yard line. Patterson in the gun, got Charbonnet to his left, 4 wide receivers. Michigan trying to make this a one-score game. He'll give it to Charbonnet. He's got running room inside the 15, wrestled down close to the 13. That should be a 5-yard pickup on 1st down. It'll be 2nd and medium now. Michigan trying to punch this one in right before the end of the third quarter and make it a one-score game.
Charbonnet has been the real playmaker for Michigan so far this whole quarter. It seems like this whole game he's the only one who's able to consistently make plays, get off the block, and shake tackles.
2nd down and 4. Penn State shows blitz. They give it off right up the middle. Charbonnet inside the 5. Touchdown, Michigan.
Open hole created for there was nothing but open room for Charbonnet to run. Easy touchdown. You love to see that from the Michigan offense. I think the Penn State was looking for a pass or a play action pass. No, Michigan was ready to run up the middle, 5 yards in a cloud of dust. So that looked like 14 yards and a touchdown.
So Michigan punches it in. 2nd rushing touchdown tonight for Zach Charbonnet. He's quietly having an excellent night now. 11 rushes for 75 yards and 2 scores. Out comes Quinn Nordine to attempt a very big extra point here. He missed one in Happy Valley last time Michigan was here. It was in the second quarter of that game. He runs out and puts this one through, and it is Michigan now trailing by 7, 21-14, with 1:05 to go in the third quarter. This game is wide open.
Yeah, this game has become very good now. Now you get to see now Penn State feels the energy that Michigan is on a comeback. Also, that was Jake Moody on the kick, just for y'all's information. But looking forward to this game, Michigan needs to further its ability to just those 3 and outs. Those are momentum killing for Penn State. Now they go in. They've given Michigan. They know that they've given Michigan chance after chance after chance, and only one of those times they've been able to score. That means Penn State, if they don't score again, Michigan has momentum finally in this game. Penn State's not offensive built anemic. I believe they've gone for 3 straight 3 and outs, not 1 first down so far.
2 straight 3 and outs in this half. They've had 5 straight possessions end in a punt. 4 of those 5 3 and outs. The other one had just 1 first down. So Michigan's defense firing on all cylinders. If they can get another stop here, then things get interesting.
One thing I've been noticing from the Michigan defense especially is the creative use of switching coverages. You see oftentimes that I personally was yelling at them for having single high safeties all the time. Well, they continue to have the single high, but they have they have a cornerback. Go back into nickel coverage, make it zone coverage, and with the blitz, that's a great idea from Don Brown over there.
Be very interesting to see if Moody bangs this one into the end zone after the way Hamler ran it out to the house, but a couple penalties brought it back to the 45. And this one is high and arcing. Let's see where it's going to be caught. It will land, 3 yards deep in the end zone. Hamler is going to try to run this one out, going to try and arc around the sideline. He'll go out of bounds, right around the 25. Won't be any different than a kickoff. It'll be marked exactly at the 25. So a lot of running for no yardage gain
It looked scary there for a minute.
Yeah, well,
though.
Hamler is so fast. He's
like
a
that-
shot out of the cannon.
That twitch, like, oh my God.
Reminds me of Tyreek Hill.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's like there's a moment like he cuts it and it's immediately that guy's running at 98 miles an hour. It's crazy what you can see there. Like, that guy's NCAA speed, if it ever came back, that's a 97 right there.
Yeah. So here we go. Clifford and the Penn State offense, they've been held to 3 and outs in each of their possessions in this second half. We'll see if they can get something going. Rushing game has been dormant for them, and they will have Clifford keep it, and nothing there. He is brought down at the 26, and some groans coming in from the Penn State crowd here at Beaver Stadium in State College, Pennsylvania. Clock now under a minute to go in the third quarter. 21-14 Penn State on top.
Michigan, the little corn goblets out in the field are looking to get very rowdy right now.
Yeah. Penn State now 2nd and 9 from the 26. They motion the running back, Devin Ford, to the right, or rather Journey Brown to the right of Clifford. Hamler in his usual position in the slot. 2 wide receivers to the right side. Freiermuth offset on the left. Clifford will drop back, ready to throw, and now pressure starts to come. He's going to roll out, trying to get outside, and he'll be hit, and he'll be brought down at the 24-yard line. Josh Uche brings him down for what I think will technically be a sack because he was behind the line of scrimmage. Loss of 2 on the play, and it'll be 3rd and 11.
You know, Clifford out there, he made a great move out there just to get it free, but he should have thrown that ball a little over the moment he got out of the pocket.
Yeah.
Looking at that play, though, Michigan is giving a good look of getting those 2 safeties out there. The first whole half, Clifford, the big red quarterback, has been able to has been able to notice that has been able to take advantage of the big plays that Michigan's been allowing. Those 2 safeties allow them to limit those big plays, and it's over.
Well, Michigan now is forced a 3rd and 11 for Penn State when we come back in the fourth quarter in play, as it is now the end of the third quarter. A fresh 15 on the clock, and boy, if Michigan can get a stop here, get the ball back with a chance to tie, things will get very interesting in this game. Don Brown's made some good adjustments that we have seen thus far. Scores around the country: Alabama 21-10 over Tennessee, and what used to be a rivalry game. Texas 40-33 on Kansas now, 7 minutes to go in that one. Those are pretty much all the top 25 scores. Vanderbilt upset Mizzou, and Missouri now 5-2 on the season. Losses to Vandy and Wyoming. Ouch. App State now in the top 25, 52-7 over Louisiana Monroe. Iowa 26-20 over Purdue in Big Ten play. Minnesota hammered Rutgers 42-7. Gophers now are the leader in the Big Ten West, and boy, if Wisconsin loses to Ohio State and Minnesota wins out until the Wisconsin game, they can lose that game and still go to the Big Ten title game. Now that
Big
Wisconsin
Ten
has
West
that-
is more interesting than it's been in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Before it was Iowa or Wisconsin, which one, and then some hopes that Nebraska ball would somewhat come back.
Yeah.
But it's really just been a 2. Now it seems like 4 or 5 teams are like legit.
Well, you had Northwestern win it last year. Wisconsin was the perennial winner. I mean, Minnesota again is on track to win that division this year, and then Iowa, of course, won it in 15 when they played MSU. That was the year they went 12-0, made it to the Rose Bowl, finished 12-2 on the season.
Yeah, and you called the Vandy score an upset. I don't think the Vanderbilt's probably a better team than Mizzou out there, especially with their running back. The old rivalry game between Tennessee and Alabama. The better rivalry of I've always known was Tennessee and Florida. If you ever read some of that history, the Steve Spurrier years have been very kind to the Tennessee, very unkind to the Tennessee Volunteers in their history. I was reading an article about the other day that Steve Spurrier would oftentimes about like the times that Steve Spurrier stole a playbook from a fax machine because the postmaster general was his brother in Tennessee. So there's a lot of fun stuff that if you want to know about Tennessee football, just ask me. It's a good read actually. If you want to go on ESPN.com and read the story about Steve Spurrier and the Tennessee Volunteers.
So Michigan will come out of this timeout facing a 3rd and 11 on defense, and we'll see what Penn State dials up. And you think about Penn State, and they're a team a lot like Michigan under Harbaugh, and then under Franklin they've really only won one truly big game. That was the blocked field goal return game against Ohio State. Last 2 years they've played Ohio State, they have choked away double-digit fourth quarter leads, and that's the fear, I think, creeping into Beaver Stadium. They've seen this movie before for Penn State. Can the offense come up with something here?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, if Michigan was able to win this game, I would like this game to forever be called the Corn Bowl. The days that small little cornfields and the mashed potatoes won.
So here we go. Clifford in the gun, 4 wide receivers, running back to the right of Clifford. Michigan will only rush 4. Pressure starts to come immediately. Clifford rolls out. Pressure starts to come right in his face. Fires it deep. Looks like a flag going to be on Michigan. Looks like defensive holding as it came in over the middle. That should give Penn State 5 yards and an automatic first down. And here's something I was talking about during the week. I don't think holding should be an automatic first down.
No.
Because a lot of times on holds, it's 3rd and 15, but if the guy holds, even if he doesn't hold, maybe it's an 8-yard completion. That doesn't.
Well, the only reason defensive holding is a first down is to discourage cornerbacks from covering cornerbacks. It's just because they want it to be more of an offensive game. But going back to that play, what I really liked watching that was the 4 guys that they only brought 4 men, and they were still able to get pressure. Don Brown, I know, loves to blitz.
So Clifford gives it off on first down and just nothing there. That's no gain, maybe 1 yard at the 35. And if Michigan can continue to stop the run effectively, they'll continue to put Penn State behind the sticks.
Yeah, they've been able to stop the run pretty effectively it seems all game except for that one big 84-yard run, I believe it was. But, looking at this team, they've been able to get interior penetration with just 4 guys.
Yeah.
Michigan normally requires 6 guys to run in the line of scrimmage, and that's allowing the Penn State Clifford to make some bad throws.
So 2nd down and 9. Clifford in the shotgun, running back to his right, trips to the left. Looks like they got a tight end in there too somewhere. Can't find him on the formation. Off to the right. Clifford drops back, got a man in the flat. He hits him and then out of bounds very quickly. Journey Brown right around the 38, 39-yard line, but that'll still set up 3rd and medium, maybe 5 or 6.
Well, there you go. You found your tight end. He was sneaking out for a quick out route. Classic fake the block outside. Michigan didn't notice him. You can't blame him for a good play call.
So 3rd down and 5, another big opportunity for Michigan to get the ball back with a chance to tie, but they need their defense to come up. Penn State had a flag give them an automatic first down on the last try. We'll see if Michigan dials up a blitz.
Curious to see. This is normally where Michigan will put up or shut up.
4 wide receivers and a guy to Clifford's left. And Michigan does bring a blitz, and Clifford's going to fire over the middle. Got it complete out to the 47-yard line. Hits Hamler beautifully, and that was a picture-perfect throw. Michigan did bring the blitz, and Clifford had to get rid of it, and he did, and hit it into a perfect window. Dax Hill on the coverage, but can't fault that throw for Sean Clifford.
Well, that's exactly what you want.
1st and 10 from the 48. Clifford play action, drops back. He's got all day to throw. He's got Hamler wide open over the middle. Caught! Touchdown, Penn State! Into the end zone, absolutely toasting Josh Metellus down the field. And another big play for Penn State is the difference on that possession. Yet
again, you see the receiver. I believe that play, the only one covering Hamler originally was Metellus on the deep left. There was no one pressing him with the coverage, and when you got that, it's one-on-one coverage with the safety and then one of the fastest guys in the whole Big Ten.
Yeah,
it's a recipe for disaster if you can't get the pressure, which Michigan was not able to do. That's scripted play.
Only a 4-man rush it looked like, and just one inside move from Hamler. I mean, by the time that ball came down, Metellus wasn't even running. He had given up on the play completely. That's how far Hamler had beaten him by. And an easy catch, easy touchdown. Penn State back up by 2 scores. And you feel like for Michigan, they got in 2 third down and medium to longs there in that sequence. Could not come up with the stop. And then the big play burns you. And for Michigan now down 2 touchdowns with 13 minutes to go. Michigan's going to need to get one of those big plays that Penn State is getting in this game.
You're not wrong. I mean, when you're watching Michigan, especially on deep, they need the big plays. They need to get like these plays and get the clock, get a score fast without wasting so much clock. It's the 4th quarter. You're down 14 points. When you're on defense, and Michigan might be trying some cover 3 press bail, old Seattle type scheme, where you see a guy who's like really fast and can get down the field really easy. If you're just going to cover him man-to-man, hope your zone safety is going to be able to get him at the end, they can go in an in-cut and burn you there. You need to get that guy slowed down and taken out of the play early.
So Penn State, I mean, you look at Penn State's game, Penn State has only 285 yards total in the early 4th quarter. If you had told Michigan that at the start of the game, they'd be pretty happy. But those big plays have killed them. But Penn State has used their yards effectively to translate to touchdowns. Michigan has not. 301 yards has only translated to 14 points for the Wolverines. And Clifford 12 of 23, not a great completion percentage, but the 3 scores and no turnovers is the difference right now.
Yeah, it's just interesting to me. They had a 4-man rush, but still they had one safety covering the receiver, covering the guy who's been burning them all game long. It just seems like bad play call, bad like defensive tactics from Don Brown.
And the fans now fired up. I mean, there were groans, there were borderline boos coming out, and then all of a sudden, one play that flips the switch, and the game changes instantly.
I mean, could you imagine how the Sweet Caroline would be if that play didn't happen? I mean, it's just it's not a great sight to see the Michigan defense, who was playing so well, open the play, and they made one fatal mistake on defense. Now Michigan's got the Michigan offense, which has not been the best at making big plays all season long, is going to have to make a bunch of those. For their one playmaker to be Jack Charbonnet, he might as well just be out of the game at this point. He has to be on the field, and he's the playmaker. But running the ball seems to be like an afterthought right now for Michigan offense, who's down 14 points in the fourth.
Yeah. Well, Michigan will have a very interesting offensive possession, and feels like a must-score possession as well, coming out of this timeout.
You know, watching this team, you feel like there needs to be a spark plug on offense. Something that can get them moving forward. These big plays aren't there because the quarterback and the play calling are just not letting them do. These shallow crossers are fine. These like quick screen routes are fine, but they're not getting them the yards they need. They need someone who's willing to take shots on the field and take advantage of the most talented receiving core outside of Alabama.
Well, the kickoff will now come to the Michigan offense. They will get the ball, and you need a quick score. It will be Jordan Stout to do the kickoff as usual, back deep. That combination of Giles Jackson. And again, you feel like it's just been execution for Michigan. Those penalties killing them. And at the same time, Penn State's gotten the big plays. And they've been cleaner, they've been better executed, and they've been better coached tonight, without a doubt. That one from Stout goes well into the back of the end zone. Michigan will take it from the 25. This is where you want the 4-minute touchdown drive. Put the pressure right back on Penn State, because again, you look at that clock, 13-14 to go. That's a lot of time in a football game.
13-14, but Michigan does not seem to be very adept at getting those 4-minute drives. Even the Illinois games, most of their scores came on long drives that had like a breakaway towards the end of it.
Well, it just felt like they don't trust Patterson's arm down the field. They've been using the bubble screens well to stretch the field, and that was the issue for this team last year. Whenever they fall behind, they struggle in those situations. We'll see what they can do here. Patterson drops back. Got plenty of time to throw now. Some pressure starts to come in his face. Fires down the field. Got it complete to Nico Collins. Out of bounds around the 36 or 37-yard line. That'll be a Michigan first down.
Great play by Nico Collins. A subtle stutter step, but he was able to trick the wide receiver to think he was coming in, and then he was straight up open for a comeback route that was not even planned.
Yeah, it looked like Robert Windsor trying to make an inside move on Jalen Mayfield. The right tackle who did a good job of pushing him back to the inside. Patterson rolled out to the right. That's a good throw on the run. Michigan first down at the 37. They're trying to work with decent tempo. Snap is off at 18 on the play clock. Patterson was going to try and throw, and that one is caught. Caught by Nick Eubanks at the 48. I was going to say Patterson was trying to run it, and then the pocket collapsed immedately. He decided to throw. It got tipped off a Penn State player's hands and into the chest of Nick Eubanks. That looked, trying to see, it looked like Garrett Taylor, the safety.
He threw it off his back foot.
Yeah.
Straight into like the receiver's to defender's hands.
Yep.
We are lucky that wasn't picked, let alone like Eubanks' concentration.
Patterson now will give the ball off to the right side. Hassan Haskins makes a nice little move, picks up about 4 yards. That's a decent pickup on first down.
Interesting to see
Second
when
and 6.
Yeah, interesting to see when your main playmaker has been Charbonnet. You're not going to put him in.
Yeah. Well, they like to rotate Charbonnet and Haskins. Both are good in pass protection and have not had the as extreme fumble problems that Michigan has had this year from some of their running backs. Christian Turner, notably, has not been seen in this game, and I think the fumble's a big part of that. 2nd and 6, Patterson's going to run it. It's a design run. He cuts out towards the left side. He comes up and slides down at the 41, gains maybe 2 on that play. Or no, maybe
yards.
1 or 2. It'll be 3rd and 4. This is 4-down territory for sure at the Penn State 41. 11:33 to go in the game. 28-14. Nittany Lions on top.
Interesting to see that Eubanks is coming out, so that is a full wide receiver set out there. They are not. I don't think they're not hiding. This is a passing play, clearly for Michigan.
Patterson in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers and a running back. This one's starting to get loud right in front of us in the whiteout, Beaver Stadium. Patterson is going to fire it into the flat. Nice little move there by Ronnie Bell. He's still on his feet. He's going to cut outside 25-20. Cuts it back 15-10. Another cut back at the 10. And he is down to the 6-yard line. A huge play run after the catch by Ronnie Bell.
As much as you love to see Ronnie Bell make an amazing play, he almost got tackled on that play. He almost lost it. Michigan almost lost yardage on that play. The bubble screen is not the play to run on 3rd and 4, even if it is 2-down territory.
And it looked like Tariq Black might have been holding down the field. Again, it's been interesting refereeing all over the place tonight. And a fan throws a fake flag up into the air right in the section in front of us here at Beaver Stadium. 1st and goal, Michigan from the 6. Just over 10 minutes to play. They can make this a 1-score game again. Patterson in the shotgun, Haskins to his right. Shea drops back and a fire to the end zone looking for Tariq Black. Nowhere close, and the flag comes in. That looks like a defensive pass interference. In coverage, Lamont Wade, the safety.
There's a flag out there.
Might be offensive pass interference for a pick. No, they show on the defense.
I mean, you love to see that, but the fade play, that was a very messy fade play from my bench.
Cluttered.
Cluttered. No one seemed to be open. That hold saved Michigan from possibly a terrible throw where anyone could have gotten it.
So ball placed down on the 4. 10:21 remaining in the game. Michigan can make it a 1-score game again. Can they punch it in? They put Charbonnet on the field. He's got 2 touchdowns tonight. Pistol formation. 2 wide receivers left. 2 tight ends in the formation. Looks like Eric All, freshman tight end, out there as well. They give it off to Charbonnet. He tries to go forward down close to the 1-yard line. Maybe 1.5-yard line. A decent pickup gets you close to the goal line, but not enough.
It's just a matter of punching it in. This is where the old Michigan model, the 5 yards in the cloud dust, is really important.
Yeah.
So keeping the ball in the air.
Tempo, they give it off to Charbonnet, and he is brought down in the backfield. Loss of 1, back to the 2, and now Michigan, you think, has got to throw it.
I'm not necessarily certain on throwing it on 3rd and 2.
I think it's keeper potentially with Patterson.
It is 2-down territory, but this is definitely should be an option route.
They're going to run some different guys on the field. Looks like Luke Schoonmaker going out there, and Ronnie Bell as well. Nick Eubanks on the field. They run Ben Mason out there. 19 on the play clock. Michigan's got plenty of time to get this set up. It's an I formation, it looks like. Yep, Patterson going to go under center for the first time all night. They move Eubanks across the formation. 5 on the play clock. Now tight ends moving across. 3 seconds. And Patterson does give it off. And there's running room into the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan.
That's 5 clouds in a cloud of dust. We've talked before about what Big Ten fantasy football would look like in this day and age. The Michigan offense is clearly going for the old Big Ten model, getting that running backs involved, trying to punch it in 4 different times. On the 3rd time, it was going to work, and now it's a 1-point game, and now it's a 1-score game.
Yep. Hassan Haskin goes into the end zone. They're going to review it from the top angle. It certainly looked like a touchdown to me. Let's take a look. He ran to the left side behind John Runyon. Man, it's tough to tell from that angle because that's a bad angle we're being shown on the Jumbotron. You can't tell from there. You're going to have to see the top angle or the side to make a definitive ruling to me.
Yeah, I don't see any ruling.
I see from behind, but I don't know. We'll see.
You can barely see where his knee goes down. Even at the worst case scenario, you can't even tell if he's extending his arm well enough or if the ball's even there. It's a hard angle to really judge. I think if there's anything, it's hard to overturn this.
Let's take a look. If they show us a better angle, here comes the sideline cam. Oh, he might be short by a half inch. Yep.
He might be.
That's gonna come back. It looks. Yep. It looks like a half yard short.
Yeah, it looks like a half arm short. So if that is a half yard short, what happens now? What should Michigan be doing? Should they be running it in with Ben Mason, which they've never really done before, haven't really doing all year since the Wisconsin game where he fumbled, or are they going to try to just give it back to the quarterback or make it an option play?
There is officially 9 minutes and 11 seconds on the clock remaining in the game. And I think you get 1.5 on a goal line formation there. Why not run it again? Either that or a bootleg for Patterson.
I think this is either an option route or a run with Ben Mason, in my opinion.
Yep, and they do announce he's short, as we expected. So here we go. Biggest play of the game. 4th and goal from the half-yard line. And the We Are Penn State chants come down. Michigan can silence the crowd and get back within 1 score. If they can punch it in here, huge moment. Offense going out there. I don't see Ben Mason.
That's an interesting play call there. You kind of want, if this is a running play, you want to get the power out there.
Oh, now there is Ben Mason out there. I formation. Let's see if they just slam it up the gut. They've got 1 wide receiver outside. That's Collins. Several tight ends. Patterson under center. Maybe it's a sneak. It is. And he pushes forward. Looks like he got it. Let's take a look. Where are the referees? They come over from the sideline. Sure looks like he's in the end zone. Can't see where the ball is. Still waiting on the referee officials. And it looks like, is he short? I don't know. Let's take a look. They signal the clock to stop. I haven't seen a signal either way. Touchdown, Michigan. Touchdown, Michigan. The Penn State fans were cheering for no apparent reason.
Well, when they saw him wave it off, I thought that the refs had waved it off short. I mean, that's not even a lucky break. That's just thank God.
The referee from the backside did this signal, which means stop the clock. It's a very visual broadcast, but they did the clock stop signal, but that just means the clock stops because it's either a touchdown or a turnover on downs. The clock is going to stop either way. They're going to review this play.
I mean,
I don't know how you could overturn
I don't know.
this. We're watching these replays, and it's just a mass of bodies. And if Patterson was across the goal line when they came in to dig out the pile, I don't possibly see how it could be overturned.
Yeah, I don't think it can be overturned, but one thing I've been looking at this replay, that was one of the most obvious goal, QB sneaks. Shea was already, preparing for that sneak the moment he was ready.
And they're telling the fans, do not throw things on the field, and the crowd is booing. Yikes.
You love to see when a crowd gets rowdy like that.
Yeah.
I think Michigan had that one time last year. I think it was also at the Penn State game that Michigan was having too much of a good time, and there was an announcement over the microphone saying, please, 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 please do not throw stuff on the field. I remember this vividly. Hopefully the same result comes out tonight for the Michigan Wolverines.
So they are now officially going to review it. I thought they were reviewing it all this time. Now they finally are going to go over to the monitor. But again, every replay we have been shown is just a pile of bodies in the end zone, on the goal line. There's just everything we're being told from people watching at home is that this is not you could not possibly overturn it.
Yes, but there's a possibility that
it looks like he got stuff short on the initial try, and then Ben Mason helped him across.
That's what it looks like. If you're a Penn State fan, there is definitely an argument to make that that's short. But there's just no way you can overturn this.
Okay, the referee takes off the headset. We'll hear the review. And they say review stands as called. That was our expectation. So this will stand. 28-20 the score, pending the PAT. Jake Moody to go out and make this a 28-21 game. With 9 minutes to go, still plenty of time, and a Penn State player throws his sweat towel off his belt.
Yeah, I mean, what a war of attrition this has been all game. Basically, Michigan coming back from a -14 deficit, making it feel like they had a chance, and now they
Moody out to attempt the extra point. The kick is up, and it goes right through. 28-21 Penn State on top, 8:48 to go, and again, pressure now on the Penn State offense.
And you know what? The Penn State offense hasn't looked that good. If Michigan is able to stop these big plays and keep track of Hamler, they have a shot. This four-man rush they've been rushing, they've been able to get the pressure on Clifford that it's been missing in the first half. He's been making bad throws. He hasn't been making bad throws. He hasn't had throws to make all game. The receivers are covered because of the four-man rush. I think what has to happen now is that Don Brown has to just swallow some pride, keep some men back, and don't blitz so much, and don't blitz as much as possible.
Well, total yardage now, 373 to 285 in favor of Michigan. Again, it's been the big plays for Penn State. They've made that yardage count. Michigan has wasted yardage on a lot of drives, but the passing game has started to open up. You look at Patterson's line, 20 for 33, 240 yards, no touchdowns, but one score. No scores, but one interception. Charbonnet, 13 carries, 76 yards. Haskins, 13 carries, 28 yards. It's definitely seemed like Charbonnet should get the majority of carries the rest of the way. And again, as we talked about a little bit ago, this is a familiar situation for Penn State. They have blown double-digit leads in the fourth quarter to Ohio State each of the last 2 years. And, can a James Franklin team string together a complete performance and hang on to an early 3-touchdown lead? They were up 21-0 midway through the second quarter. And this is now a game.
Oftentimes it has been James Franklin's Achilles heel has been managing a game.
Yep.
It is oftentimes you see him blow leads. Oftentimes you've seen the offense be anemic in crucial moments. They were bailed out by A.J. Crumbler earlier on the last drive.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that was one of the most stout Michigan defensive stops you would ever see, you've seen. They got one first down. Michigan has 8 minutes to play with.
Yeah.
They could even there is a worst case scenario where that could be a 10-point game and they could still feasibly come back. We'd like to see a stop, of course. Watching this game come up, Michigan needs to make a stop, and they've shown they can. Michigan has three or four first downs to really give it. Because the way the Penn State offense, they're not taking that many shots down the field. Just do your best to stop the run, and you can get the ball back with a chance to win it. The question will be then, can the Michigan offense succeed down the field? That's something I haven't seen yet. Michigan almost gave that ball away on a bad Patterson throw earlier in the last drive. We can see if they can make up for those mistakes.
So here we go. Kickoff for Jake Moody. Scores around college football. 21-10 Alabama still. Texas 47-40 over Kansas. Jayhawks have the ball trying to drive and tie the game with less than 2 minutes to go. And in the ALCS, Houston 4, Yankees 2. Astros 9 outs away from going to the World Series for the second time in 3 seasons. We'll see what Moody does. They put the kickoff about 3 yards into the end zone last time around after the long Hamler return. See how far Moody can kick it this time. And, yeah, this one is an absolute rocket. It will land 5 yards deep in the end zone, and Hamler will decide to take a knee.
He really wanted to run with that, though. Looking at him, honestly, if I'm Penn State, I'm letting him run. I'm giving every chance to make a big play.
5 yards deep in the end zone's a little deep, though.
It's a little deep, but every chance to make a play at this point. You need to take the life out of Michigan.
Well, the thing with Penn State is this is where you want a long drive to grind out the clock, but they have not had any success on the ground this second half. It's been all through the air. That was the touchdown to Hamler on their last possession. Penn State 28, Michigan 21, 8:48 to go in the contest. In the shotgun is Clifford. 3 wide receivers. Freiermuth offset to the right. He's going to swing it out into the flat. This one's going nowhere. Ricky Slade is in trouble, and he's going to lose 5 yards on that play. Josh Metellus and Vincent Gray and Cameron McGrowan all came down. A bubble screen going nowhere.
Great read by Josh Metellus. That seemed like he was going at the bubble screen no matter what. The moment he saw that was either he should have gone towards the quarterback or he knew that bubble screen was coming. He immediately ducked back to number 3.
So now 2nd and 14. Penn State's got to find a way to get some of this yardage back. We'll see if they keep it on the ground here and try to do so. Clifford takes the snap. Pressure comes right at him. Gonna get hit. Gonna go down. Cam McGrone sacks him back at the 15-yard line. That's a loss of 6 on the play, and it will now be 3rd down and 20 for the Nittany Lions. And it'll be interesting to see what Don Brown dials up here. They gave up a 3rd and 22 conversion to Iowa playing man. This is where most NFL teams play a zone, where you put your safeties at the sticks and make them throw it short.
We do have a two safety rotation with
Hawkins
showing
and
blitz.
Metellus are playing around the 30-yard line. Michigan shows blitz. Hamler's uncovered in the slot still. You wonder if the blitz doesn't get home. Pressure could come, and now here comes pressure again. It's a shovel pass into the flat. Ricky Slade grabs it, but he's brought down at the 21, 22-yard line. And Michigan gets that huge 3-and-out, clock ticking down towards 7 minutes. And the Wolverines are going to get the ball back. They'll put Gillikin on the field as the punter. And the Wolverines will have a chance to drive and tie this game at 28. in the middle of the fourth quarter. Things getting interesting
That
at
is
State College.
That is exactly what you want to see from the Michigan defense.
Gillikin takes the snap, runs out. Oh, boy, they came after him again, and he tries to sell that one. Caught by Peoples-Jones at the 45. He's at the 50, cutting out, and Michigan will have phenomenal field position in Penn State territory at the 46-yard line.
I mean, tell me what you had a heart attack a little bit when you saw Crambler uncovered at the press box. That was I was personally
that's what
worried
Michigan's
about.
been doing. They've been playing a deep safety and no one at the line of scrimmage on Hamler.
Which is odd. I feel like I would personally, if it was me, I would have a press corner.
Yeah, you try to just press him off the field to start the route.
You got to take him off the play, but the best way to take him off the play is making sure the quarterback doesn't have time to throw, I guess.
And that's what they did there with Hutchinson coming around the backside. So we have a commercial timeout. I believe you wanted to shout out a relative who is listening, correct?
Yes. I would like to give a personal happy birthday to my grandpa Jerry. This man has been one of the most positive influences in my life. He's currently in Florida. Papa, I love you. I believe this is your 73rd birthday, so I would like to wish you all the best of luck and all the best of luck in what you're doing. Still selling furniture at 73 years old. He was one of my closest friends, one of the best lights of my life. Happy birthday, Papa.
And I also want to give a shout out to my Uncle Jim in Cabo right now in Mexico listening to this broadcast. Michigan will get the ball on the 47-yard line of Penn State. Best field position of the night, the only time the Wolverines have started in Penn State territory. And again, boy, if Michigan could drive and get a touchdown and tie this game, everything changes with the way Penn State has played offense in this half.
You would love to see it. I mean, my grandfather sent 3 children and one grandchild to the University of Michigan, and I feel like it would be a great birthday present for them to walk away with a win and a huge comeback win for the Michigan Wolverines.
So, as we watch the quarterbacks, they're trying to warm Patterson up. He's throwing with McCaffrey out there, just trying to get loose. Patterson now on the night, 20 of 33, 240, no touchdowns, 1 interception. Clifford, 14 of 25, 182, 3 touchdowns, but the pass rush and run defense has been suffocating for Michigan, holding Penn State to just a touchdown in this second half. Only one drive that even got a first down in this half out of 4 so far. Don Brown's defense has done the job, and now can the Michigan offense get a score on this possession? I mean, boy, when it was 21-0 in that second quarter, I thought we were going to be killing time in this second half. And instead, we've got a real football game on our hands here. Strap in, gang. 7 minutes to go.
With a good amount of time. This is roughly a Michigan 2-shotter. I'd like to get it now, but Michigan has 7 minutes left in the clock. That's enough time for timeouts. The worst case is you have a zero timeout drive on your hands in the next one.
Kansas, by the way, has scored a touchdown and gotten the 2. They lead 48-47 in Austin with 71 seconds to go. Here we go. Patterson and company break the huddle. The crowd, over 100,000 in Beaver Stadium, waving the pom-poms of the whiteout atmosphere. Michigan trying to tie this game. 28-21, Penn State on top. Patterson's got a running back to his right. Couple receivers, 2 tight ends in the formation. He takes the snap. Plenty of time to throw. Going to fire, looking for Nico Collins. Got it complete inside the 40 and out of bounds at around the 34, 33-yard line. That is a really nice 14-yard pickup on first down. Michigan moving the ball well right now.
You know, you like to see that. That ball did take a little bit long to get there, but it feels like Nico Collins finally has some rhythm with Shea Patterson, knowing how long that ball is going to take. Just a good comeback route. No one was just a perfect read of the zone.
6:35 to go in the game. Patterson in the shotgun, receiver to his left. Black comes across the formation. Play action, and Patterson's in trouble. Fires, just throws it away. Looked like he was looking for Haskins on a screen. Nothing there. That was throwaway, 2nd and 10.
That was a clear jet sweep to Tariq Black. That was just a blown play. Shea Patterson was doing whatever he can to get that ball out of there. No one was open.
Yeah, Black came around behind, and it looked like good penetration there from the Nittany Lions. So 2nd and 10 from the 33. Michigan's had great success through the air, tearing up this Penn State secondary. Eubanks offset from the formation. 3 wide receivers. Haskins as a pass protecting back. Penn State brings some men again. They throw in the area of Collins. Some contact from Tariq Castro-Fields, but no flag comes in. Now 3rd and 10. And this is an interesting situation because you're not in clear field goal range.
No. Michigan, I believe this would be a 48-yarder if I'm not mistaken.
It'd be a 51-yarder by Mike, or close to 50 from the 33. So we'll see what they do here.
Michigan has shown that they're not really adept at getting these long field goals. This might be a punt situation if Michigan doesn't make it.
They've still got 16 on the play clock. Plenty of time to set things up. 3 wide receivers to the left side, 1 to the right. Just Haskins is the pass protecting running back. To Patterson's right, 4 down linemen for Penn State. That's all they rush. Patterson should have time to throw, and he does. Got it complete over the middle to Donovan Peoples-Jones, but he's a little short at the 27. 4th down and 4. What do you do here? They run Eubanks on the field. They're going for it.
Oh my Lord. Oh my goodness gracious.
6 minutes to go.
Someone's going to be having a heart attack on this play. I'll guarantee you that.
The argument is that even if you kick a field goal, you still need a touchdown. You need a touchdown now. You'd still need one.
This feels like a jumping off sides thing that they might be doing.
4th and 4.
Take delay of game if not.
Crowd is going wild. Patterson in the shotgun, 3 wide receivers and Eubanks. He takes the snap, drops back. Pressure comes off the right side. Steps up, fires. Got it complete, Nico Collins. That's a Michigan first down to the 21-yard line. Move the sticks, and the Wolverines keep driving at 5:32 to go in the 4th quarter. This game getting very interesting. And Michigan, we saw that conservativeness in the first half. They are playing to win right now.
I mean, you love to see it. That was ballsy from Coach Harbaugh. I don't know if I would have called that one.
Pistol formation. Charbonnet, the lone back. 2 tight ends in the formation. Penn State shows blitz. They'll give it off to Charbonnet. Not much there, but he does a good job to go forward. Wow, he almost got 5 yards on that run.
Yeah, this is what Charbonnet is really good at, and what I love about this kid.
Yeah.
His ability is to not be tackled fully. He puts his shoulder down, and he's able to get his big, beefy thighs and just be able to turn it around.
Under 5 minutes to go in the game. Michigan trying to get that game-tying score. 28-21, Penn State on top. Clock ticks down to 4:40. 18 seconds on the play clock. 2nd down and 6 or 7 from the 18-yard line. They need the 11, so officially 7 yards needed. 4 wide receivers to the left side. Design run for Patterson. He goes around a couple defensive ends and then is met immediately there. No gain on the play. They'll do it 3rd and 7, and now you're in a scenario where you could potentially kick a field goal.
Yeah.
If you got stopped here. A much more manageable situation, but again, you're playing to win right now.
I mean, you're playing to win, but you do have, what would you say, with the clock, you have 3 first downs, roughly, that you're looking at on an opposing field, 2 with the
Yeah, I mean, there's
timeouts.
4 minutes on the clock right now. Michigan's got all 3 timeouts. They have plenty of time if they did kick a field goal to use those and try to stop the Penn State offense. Patterson getting ready to take this snap. 2 wide receivers to the left, 2 tight ends to the right side. Only a 4-man rush, fires. Got him incomplete over the middle. It's Eric All inside the 10, down to the 8. Michigan, nerves of steel right now. Ice in the veins of Shea Patterson. That's a Michigan first down and goal now at the 7. Wolverines 7 yards from tying this game. 3.5 minutes to go. Patterson with Charbonnet offset to the right. 3 wide receivers and a tight end. They give it to Charbonnet. He bounces around 1 tackler, brought down at the 5. And now you're in a situation where if Michigan does score, Penn State would be set up in a 2-minute drill situation. But with the way the Michigan defense is playing, you would feel good about your chances. Got to get in the end zone first, though.
Got to get in the end zone first. This is the kind of situation, though, where Michigan wants to go for 2. I'm not so certain.
No, I don't think you go for 2. I mean, 3:10 to go in the game. 2nd down and goal from the 6. 20 on the play clock. Michigan's done well with tempo on this drive. Saying a few things to the line. Offensive line is Patterson. Wide receivers to the right, tight ends in the formation. Charbonnet, the pass protecting back. This is a design run for Patterson. He arcs outside and gets pushed out of bounds at around the 3. It'll be 3rd and goal with 2 or 3 yards needed. Clock stops with 2:44. This is 2-down territory.
This is 2-down territory. And, before this play even gets off, I want to give some credit to Josh Gaddis. His play calling on this drive has been immensely successful. There's been an open receiver, what seems on every single play. Easy throws everywhere. That's what you like to see.
2:35 on the game clock. Penn State running some guys out there. 18 seconds on the play clock. 2:30 in the game clock. Patterson looks to the sideline. They hold the play cards up. No huddle this entire drive. 10 seconds on the play clock. They move Eubanks into the formation. 3rd down and goal. They move Peoples-Jones in motion. Got to get the play off, and they do. Patterson rolls to his right. Looking. Pressure starts to come. Can he fire it into the end zone? And this is incomplete, but a guy, hard coverage in the end zone. No flag comes in. And now 4th down and 3. Goal to go.
What do you think is this situation? I am not even sure if you go for it.
Oh, you go for it.
You go for it?
You still need a touchdown, even if
you don't Dan Quinn this right now.
You're playing to get this right here. Patterson looks over to the sideline. Here we go, biggest play of the game. 4th down and goal from the 3. Shea in the shotgun, 8 on the play clock. Says something to his right tackle, Mayfield. 5 seconds on the play clock. Penn State brings a muted blitz. Patterson's got time to throw. Fires into the end zone, and it's incomplete. Dropped in the end zone. Looking for Ronnie Bell, couldn't find him. And with 2:01 to go, Penn State has the ball, but the game's not over with 3 timeouts.
No, the game is not over, but that was a clear open catch from Ronnie Bell. Ronnie Bell dropped a game winner right there. No coverage.
Oh, boy.
Or was that swatted out of his hand?
From the first angle, it looked like he just cleanly dropped it. Let's take a look on the second angle. Not a great throw, but that ball needs to be caught.
That ball, oh my Lord. That is a bad look for the Michigan offense. It was playing so well. The guys open. They picked up the blitz, an all-out blitz. There was not one person in back coverage.
Yep.
Everyone was on the line, and the blitz picked up perfect. Shea made a good move, and just a drop catch. It's really sad. But this game is not over.
Nope. Penn State will have it in the shadow of their own goal line. And if Michigan, with all 3 timeouts, they can stop the clock, try to drive down, get a touchdown, and send this game to overtime. Things continue to be pretty interesting. We are being told that it was a clean drop, at least on television. Michigan now has outgained Penn State 417 yards to 282. Penn State continues to lead the yards per play, though, by a healthy margin. And again, you think about Michigan, some drops in this game, and that one will loom large.
That one will loom large. At the end of the day, if Michigan gets the ball back and they are able to go have a chance to win the game, if that touchdown does, do you go for the win? Do you go for the tie?
That's a thought in the back of the head of the coaches, but right now you're playing defense. You're playing defense right now. Penn State will have it on their own 3.
My question right now is, how much are you blitzing if you're Don Brown? How many people are you bringing? I'm sure Penn State knows you're bringing guys, and someone like Don Brown, who's a little Jim Schwartz-esque,
right,
knows that he wants to bring the blitz. If you're Penn State, do you rush it and play to that hand, or do you take a risk? Do you get that game over with on a play-action pass?
Well, having watched enough Penn State games under James Franklin, they are very conservative in general. I would expect 2 runs up the middle, or at the very least 2 runs, especially on your own 3-yard line. You got to get out of the shadow of your goal line. And if Michigan can, tighten up on that interior of the defensive line, they can make it 3rd and long, and then the game comes down to 1 passing play situation for Sean Clifford.
It's gonna be an interesting situation. It's a heart racer right now here in College Station.
It's State College, but yes.
Excuse me, State College. I got 2 things mixed up.
Today's attendance, 110,669. So here we go. Teams break their huddles. 2:01 to go on the clock. This has been a fun game. It's been an unusual game and a very odd scenario or sequence of events, but Michigan has been playing some really competitive football this second half. They've been the better team in the second half, but it's not going to matter if they can't get a stop here. They motion Noah Kane to Clifford's right. Now he'll go up to the line and say something to his blockers. Clifford takes the snap, gives it to Kane. This is straight up the middle and gains, 3 yards, 3.5. A good burst from Kane there, but not a whole lot.
I mean, you saw 5 people go in. That was a pretty conservative play call from Don Brown that you would normally see. The question is now, with a little room, what does the Penn State offense want to do?
Hudson and Kemp on the tackle there. You know, the thing is interesting is that having watched that game, Penn State and Iowa last week, Penn State handed it off 3 times, and they got the first down to ice the game. And it was all Noah Kane shedding tacklers. Michigan's got to be disciplined in tackling.
Which they have been throughout most of the game. They've not been that disciplined in coverage, but in terms of tackling, they've been spot on today.
Well, here we go. Timeout taken by the Wolverines at 1:56. Exact same formation for the Nittany Lions. Clifford in the shotgun. Kane to his right. They run out of the shotgun often in this situation. They do have those wide receivers on the side, and man, Hamler is uncovered right now. Be fascinating to see, but they are just going to give it off to Kane, and he goes up the middle to the 10. It's going to be 3rd down and 4, and this is the game right here. Michigan takes their timeout. 1:51 to go. Does James Franklin try to run Kane again, or does he let Clifford throw? This is the big situation. Historically, Franklin's been a guy to just give it off 3 times. And certainly if you set up in a spread formation, I think an option 2 be a QB run.
That's
go
kind of
5 wide and have Clifford try to scramble.
If I was Penn State's coach, I would be looking for a QB option right now with a QB option route. I'm looking at where's is the A gap covered? If not, I'm running it. I'm gonna make Clifford make those plays. I know he's not been the most dynamic runner today, but he's been pretty good at shedding tackles. You gotta watch out for that. Michigan, when I'm curious, are they going to send all 8? Are they going to send all 8 guys on here and leave 3 just to cover the receivers? I'm very interested to see what Don Brown's cooking up right now.
3rd down and about 3.5. Ball placed down on the 10. The sticks are between the 13 and the 14. If Michigan can get this stop, they'll have excellent field position in about 1:45 to try and tie the game. Clifford in the shotgun's got Noah Kane to his left. 2 wide receivers. They'll bring Hamler across the formation. And he is right there. They're going to give it to him. Hamler tries to cut up, and it's going to be a close spot. He got it. That's a Penn State first down, and that should ice the game. A really nice play call there from James Franklin. They brought Hamler from the left side of the formation over right next to Clifford. He took the snap and then was able to just thunder forward. There is a man down for the Nittany Lions left to burn a timeout, but a great job to stretch running off the left side and get that first down. Michigan doesn't have to take their timeout here because Penn State has to burn their own timeout, but effectively with 1:45 to go, the game basically done.
You know, when you're looking at that play and you see A.J. Crumpler, you got to know that ball is going to him. He's been able to burn you all game. He's been their playmaker all game. I know that they are a 3-down run team, but it tends to be just a moment of pure bluff calling. It's a poker game at that point. It felt like there was a little bit of hesitation from Michigan, and that hole was there. In all honesty, I don't think he even got it, to be honest.
I don't know. I haven't seen a good enough replay.
I don't think he got it. There's the replay right there. To me,
and Harbaugh is yelling at the officials. Oh, he might be short. Wow.
Yeah, he looks pretty short to me. It looked short initially when I even watched it.
And Harbaugh is pointing at the screen, and the replay officials have to be buzzed down under 2 minutes to go, is my understanding. I'm not sure that you have enough to overturn it. I think it's so rarely get overturned that I mean, Harbaugh is yelling at the officials. I mean, it's worth a look at. I wouldn't expect anything to be overturned.
No, I wouldn't expect anything, but Michigan seems to be. It seems to be oftentimes that you would see Michigan close down on a small, close call. It is an interesting situation we're going to be in here, and hopefully this is overturned. But I don't think
Harbaugh. I mean, we still haven't had a review initiated. Now the referees are talking to each other. I don't know if it is a booth review or if it's a Michigan challenge technically to initiate a review. I mean, they're all talking to Harbaugh. I mean, this play has got to be reviewable in some form. Michigan is challenging. They have their last timeout.
I mean, there's no other situation. You challenge that play, and then you call timeout almost immediately. Or if it is a challenge, the play will still run, right?
So, again, they're going to go under the hood. will try and get a potential conversation with the refuse. I mean, it looks like he got it to me. I don't know. I'm not watching on the television, so.
I'm watching on television. To me, he looks short. To me, even if that's a spot, that looks like a spot should have been short. I don't know how you overturn it, unfortunately. Yeah, there's just simply not enough to overturn.
I think there might not be enough to overturn. I mean, Hamler ran off the left side. You have Hudson there. I mean, he got met what seemed like short at the time, and then he might have fallen forward. I mean, it's tough to see when the knee goes down. Let's take a look. Oh man, I can't tell from those angles. I don't know if they have anything better on the TV. I can't even expect. Let's take a look. Yep, they say confirmed. So not just was there not enough, that was the correct call.
Sometimes when you're in your career of broadcasting, sometimes it just hurts to talk. This is one of those times. That's a heartbreaker for Michigan, who will now essentially go to 5-2, losing a big road game to Penn State. How does Michigan bounce back? Do they have anything to look forward to other than a Week 16 matchup against Ohio State and Week 13 matchup against Ohio State and next week's matchup against the rival Notre Dame?
Well, I think if you're Michigan, you come away from this game thinking you played a really solid football game. You gained over 400 yards, but they were bad coaching. They were not ready to play this football game. And when you fall down by 3 scores, it's very hard to win.
Yeah.
And so the first kneel down is done there by Sean Clifford. And the crowd is cheering. They're going to go home happy here in Happy Valley.
It'll be a fun night in Happy Valley in State College for these Nittany Lions fans.
Yep.
Those millions and thousands of tailgaters we saw on our way up will have a lot of fun tonight. Congratulations to them. Job well done. Michigan offense was anemic in the first half. Came alive a little bit in the second half, but still, there were no big plays to speak of.
And there's the second kneel down by Clifford, and I don't know if Michigan rushed that. I wasn't looking exactly at the play when it happened. But that kneel down is taken. Clock now ticks under 50 seconds. So this last one will be the final one. Penn State will survive undefeated another week. They have a late season matchup with Ohio State that is going to decide the Big Ten East. Michigan essentially out of the Big Ten East picture at this point in time. But again, you feel like with the performance today, there are things to take away. I thought Shea Patterson was not terrible, especially in that second half.
Yeah.
But they've got to execute better. They've got to be better coached. You cannot show up in a hostile environment not ready to play the football game, and that's what happened here tonight.
I saw a lot of not terrible stuff from Shea Patterson as well tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was skittish early and then much better, and the fireworks go off here in State College. Final score, Penn State 28, Michigan 21.
You see a lot of not terrible stuff from Shea Patterson time and time again. You see that he has moments of he's good, he's fine out there. The Michigan offense has not been able to rely on Shea Patterson to make necessary plays.
Yeah.
It has just been unreliable. This game, they stuck with their guy who didn't do enough to get himself benched this time.
Well, and this is such an odd game to try and, draw things from, right? Because if the first 20 minutes of the game where Michigan is melting down, if that's the whole game, there's an easy narrative, right? Season's over, bench Patterson, bring McCaffrey in. But with this performance, it wasn't great, it wasn't terrible. It's in this weird middle zone where I don't know if, you bench him after this showing. I mean, it wasn't his fault that ball wasn't caught in the end zone. That's on Ronnie Bell. And that's a good find from him.
Yeah, that was a great play made by him moving his feet, which is the one thing he's elite at.
Yeah.
He's elite at his ability to move his feet and get out of the pocket. But Shea Patterson is time and time again shown his inability to make big plays. He's shown an ability to extend plays. Is he reliable? Because if you're right, this is a hard game to rely on. Did he do enough to bench himself? No. Did he do enough where it was a tie? I would give him the edge. Probably not either.
Well, and what was one of the biggest things we said coming into this game? Michigan cannot fall behind. And when you fall behind by 3 touchdowns, very hard to win the game.
Michigan's recent performance, this felt like a game where they had to win either a really close game the whole way and squeak out, or they were able to get up early and squeak out a win against Penn State. It's unfortunate here.
Well, and you think about the way the defense played in that second half. You imagine a scenario in this game where Michigan comes ready to play. They take an early lead, and the defense does the job. But instead, the defense was constantly trying to play catch-up. You know, they were, and think about some of those drives early in the second half where it just didn't click. Drives that things just fell apart, you know, late in the series, and you know, too many mistakes add up. I said this. I mean, again, the bell drop is tough, but I think the coaching failed the players today. They were not ready to play. The game plans were not good early on. But then I thought, honestly, that second half, that might have been the best series of play calling we've seen from Gaddis all year. So that's something to watch going into next weekend against a Notre Dame team. And, you know, you look at Michigan's season, 2 losses suck, but your 3 rivals you still haven't played yet. This can be a successful season depending on how those 3 games go, and they're all at home, but they got to be ready to play. Twice now they've fallen down by 3 touchdowns in the first half in a road game. That just can't happen.
Yeah, just a bad day for the Michigan football team. Need to move forward, get ready for your rivalries. This season is over in terms of the Big Ten Championship. They are too far behind. It'll take a miracle for them to be in contention.
Yep.
We are in Happy Valley, where a miracle happened in 2006 for them to be able to win the Big Ten Championship.
Well, any last thoughts before we sign off?
My last thoughts is, with all this Shea and Gaddis slander, there is still hope against our rivals.
Well, it'll be Michigan versus Notre Dame under the lights next weekend. We will have that game. You'll be back with us. Daniel will be there, as will Jack Molino in the Big House booth. Until then, for Daniel Thompson, who is sitting and crying in the corner of our booth, Andy Laidlaw, Andrew Miller from Happy Valley in Penn State, Beaver Stadium. Final score once again, Penn State 28, Michigan 21. We'll see you next week. Good night, and go blue.